7 with the BBC News. I'm John Barnes. A teenager who stabbed a 15-year-old girl outside a shopping centre in South London has been found guilty of murder. Eliane Andam had been trying to get to her friend's belongings back when she was attacked by Hassan Sentamu in September 2023. Sentamu was 17 at the time. Detective Chief Inspector Becky Woodsford led the police investigation and spoke outside the Old Bailey.
We heard that Eliane was aggrieved on behalf of her friend and she simply wanted to get to school on time. Outside a very busy Whitgift centre, in rush hour, she took back that bag from Hassan. She was laughing as she took the bag. It was a gesture of solidarity with her friend that shockingly cost Eliane her life.
It's believed that a number of obstacles holding up a crucial Israeli vote on the ceasefire deal for Gaza have been overcome. Israel had accused Hamas of backtracking on parts of the agreement, claims denied by the group. The vote is now expected to take place tomorrow. A 58-year-old man has admitted sexually assaulting a young girl on the Isle of Wight. Adrian Stone from Horsebridge Hill in Newport breached a sexual harm prevention order when he invited the girl to go fishing in September. He drove her to a secluded location near the River Medina, then assaulted her. He'll be sentenced in April. BP is cutting more than 4,700 jobs, about 5% of its global workforce. The oil and gas giant is also axing around 3,000 contractor roles. Stricter controls have been put in place at ports such as Dover after an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Germany. Imports of cattle, pigs and sheep and associated meat and dairy products from the country have been banned. Sojourn Joseph is the Labour MP for Ashford.
Foot and mouth disease is a horrible disease. It's very worrying. We had a very bad experience in the past. So government has taken immediate and decisive action as soon as we heard about the news from Germany, banning all imports from Germany.
A 10-year-old fell runner from North Yorkshire is being hailed as a star for the future after winning the Under-11 West Yorkshire Cross Country League. Callum is also North Yorkshire champion. He trains 3 times a week in all weathers on the fells near his home in the Yorkshire Dales. Here's Callum and Dad Mark.
When I'm running, I just try either get to the next person, or if I'm running, just maintain the pace and keep going forward.
Fell running's the main sport we go to. Most weekends, we'll be somewhere up and down the Dales or in the Lake District, doing it as a family.
The American director David Lynch has died at the age of 78. He was known for his surrealistic and experimental works such as Mulholland Drive and Twin Peaks. Well, that's the latest. There's more on the BBC website. It's now 7:03.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport, the home of live sports across the south. Every Saints, Cherries and Pompey game live.
Well, it was a well-needed win for Southampton 4 days ago.
Crossing from the left-hand side. Dibbling might get a third chance. Shoots low. He gets his second. Saints get their third. Dibbling drills it low. He's got 2. Saints are probably now into the 4th round of the FA Cup. It's Southampton 3, Swansea 0.
But they've still only picked up 1 Premier League win so far this season. They've been stuck on 6 points ever since Ivan Juric came in a month ago, but he'll hope that changes at Manchester United tonight, who are 15th. And your team news recap comes from Adam Blackmore.
You're right, Ian. They are statistically the worst team in Premier League history after 20 league games, Southampton. So there's only ways up from here, you would think. And as Ivan Juric looks to get his first official point as manager, because I'm not counting the Fulham game when he was in the stands, he has made 2 changes from the side that got woefully smashed by Brentford just over 10 days ago, 11 days ago. Sugawara comes in for Nathan Wood, who had a great run of games from the start of December. He drops out. Sugawara comes in on the right wing-back position, and we think Fernandes, who was suspended against Brentford and sorely missed, showed the difference against Swansea, and he comes in this afternoon, or this evening, but not in midfield or for a midfielder. He comes in for Paul Onuachu. So Saints, we're looking like a back 3 of Bree, Bednarik and Harwood Bellis. Walker Peters and Sugawara wide, Ugachukwu, Rebo, then up front Dibbling, Fernandes and Sulemana, the same 3 who got 3 in the FA Cup. 2 changes for United. Garnacho in for the suspended Dalot, and Yoro, the 19-year-old centre-back, comes in for Harry Maguire. This one is live on BBC Sounds and on BBC Radio Solent. Kick-off is 8 o'clock.
So there we go. Let's hear from you. Thoughts on that team? What about Sulemana? Can he build on that first goals he scored for 20 months 4 days ago? Happy with it? 81333 on the text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make sure you start your message with Solent for both so it gets to us. And if you haven't messaged us on WhatsApp first, it's easy to do. Just add us to your contacts first and then fire away. Or you can tweet us at Solent Sport. It is Southampton away at Manchester United in the Premier League. 8 o'clock kickoff, as Adam says, on the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Good evening. How busy has this week been? Thursday night football. 6 commentaries this week. This is day 3 of consecutive live sport. On Tuesday, we brought you Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. Last night, it finished Blackburn 3, Portsmouth 0. And loads of reaction from those games right now on BBC Sounds, including Cherries winger Antoine Semenyo, head coach Andoni Iraola, Ryan Christie for Bournemouth, Portsmouth's Isaac Hayden, who made his debut after arriving on loan from Newcastle, and also head coach John Messino, who not only spoke last night, but spoke this morning as well at 11 o'clock, 12 hours after the full-time whistle, and the latest Cherries Unpicked episode as well in the latest of our Cherries BBC Sound series. That's also dropped today, and really pleased to have former Bournemouth captain Steve Cook as our special guest, joining Jordan Clark and Joe Partington. Just search Bournemouth into Sounds to listen to more. But right now it's all about Southampton at Manchester United in the Premier League. Chris in Southbourne says a good positive lineup for Saints tonight. The pressure will be more on United this evening because if Saints win, United will be gradually drawn into a relegation battle. Good to hear that Joe Tessam is sounding upbeat as well, says Chris. I'm sticking with my 1-1 prediction from Monday night. And if you're wondering what that's all about, Chris was one of our Saints fan on our Monday night fan club. So that was fantastic to have him on. And there'll be another Monday night fan club, as there is every week, where we have a Saints, Cherries and Pompey fan get together and chew the fat between 6 and 7 next Monday. So talking of Joe, we'll hear from him again in a second, but we've just heard those team news headlines, and for those just tuning in, Adam, let's get those team news in more detail, those team news in full.
Yeah, absolutely in. No problem at all. Let's start with Manchester United, shall we? They started the midweek games at 13th, they're now 15th. It's rarely been so bad, and yet Ruben Amorim has been brought in by Jim Ratcliffe and the Ineos lot to sort things out. Of course, Jason Wilcox is here, who was at Saints. We'll talk about that aspect of Southampton not having a director of football before 8 o'clock. And of course, they've been buying players, as you'd expect Manchester United always do. So United, with 2 changes from the side that had that brilliant 2-2 draw at Liverpool in their last Premier League outing, where Martinez and Amad Diallo scored. Onana in goal. De Ligt, who scored his first and only Man United goal against Saints back in their 3-0 win at St Mary's back in September. Yoro comes in. Now, if you don't know much about Lenny Yoro, the 19-year-old, they paid Lille £52 million for him in the summer. Highly rated centre-back, and it's his 3rd Premier League start. A bit like Nathan Wood, all his appearances coming since December when he was fit. So a back 3 of De Ligt, Yoro and Martinez. Then the midfield 4, Mazraoui on one side, we think Garnacho on the other, with Ugarte and Mainu in the middle of the pitch. And then the forward 3, Diallo, Højlund and Fernandes, you'd expect to start. Amad Diallo has really come good, hasn't he, this season? He's been a real fringe player since he's moved from Atalanta in 2021, but Ruben Amorim is getting the best out of him. 3 goals and 6 assists in his last 12 Premier League appearances. The United bench, Altay Bayındır, the Turkish goalkeeper who was the hero at Arsenal in the FA Cup last weekend, of course, saving that Kai Havertz penalty. Harry Maguire, who's dropped to the bench. Joshua Zirkzee, a lot of pressure on him. Tyrell Malacia, the Dutch midfielder. Christian Eriksen, Casemiro, Anthony, then young Toby Collier, the young midfielder, and a player I haven't researched, number 87, Godwill Kokonki. So I'll let you do that, Ian, back in the studio. Saints, that's the best Christian name ever, isn't it? Godwill, fantastic. For Saints, Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Bree, Bednarik and Harwood Bellis, we think, will be the 3 centre-backs. He could, of course, play Walker-Peters as one of them, but I don't think he will. Then Sugawara and Walker-Peters wide. He thinks, he actually said yesterday, by the way, worth mentioning, that Ivan Juric said yesterday, Ian, he likes a right footer on the left sometimes because of what it creates. I think he said out wide or whatever, maybe outside him. He likes the overlap maybe, but we'll see. He said that anyway. He said he quite likes him being right-footed at left back. So Unuga Chokwu and Aribo continue in the middle of the park. Sugawara right, and then Dibbling, Fernandes and Sulemana, who started against Swansea, start against. That's 2 changes with Sugawara and Fernandes in for Wood. And Paul Onuachu, after 3 straight starts for the new manager, drops to the bench at Old Trafford. Flynn Downs is back fit enough for the bench, and Will Smallbone, having come off the bench in the FA Cup, is back in the Premier League squad for the first time since the middle of October. So good news for the Irish international there, that is for sure. Saints, like we said, winless in their last 17 Premier League away games. That's just 2 behind a club record now, Ian, which was set between March 85 and Feb 86. But how about this? Manchester United have not lost 4 in a row at home since February 1934, and in the top flight it's 1930. So imagine if Saints could win here and stick a bad record on Manchester United instead of everyone talking about theirs. What would that be? 95 years. Could give United their worst home record for 95 years. That's what we're hanging on to here.
Wow, that's quite something. Godwill Kakonki.
Yeah,
passed a test. There you go. I'll try. Good luck with that when he comes on later.
He's not coming on unless there's 7 injuries, mate. I'm telling you.
I doubt
he's not coming on.
Especially at the age of 16. Well, the Saints boss Ivan Juric speaking yesterday about Southampton chairman Henrik Kraft now then being replaced in the role by majority shareholder Dragan Solak. But Juric wasn't too bothered.
They informed me about this change, and that's it. For me, it doesn't change anything. No, I keep working, and that's it.
8 seconds, Joe, was his first answer on that. I'm sure you're going to give us more than 8 seconds on your opinion on what happened this week.
I have to agree with you. It doesn't affect my job either.
It could be a long night. We could be in for a very long evening.
It might affect your job, Joe, if Dragan Solak bans you from the stadium. You just never know. We might get barred.
Like a Fergie ban.
Well, it's happened before under Nicola Cortese.
Yeah,
him.
I think we spoke about it when Russell Martin got sacked, and a lot of fans were asking, where's the board, where's the news, why aren't they coming out and defending what they're doing or speaking out, and we spoke about it on air, Adam, a few times, that it depends on one person, and it's the person that puts the money into the club what kind of changes is going to happen. And if he's not happy, then there will be a change. And now we're kind of starting to see what he is doing, and he isn't happy because he obviously wasn't happy with Russell Martin, so that's why he's gone, and now the chairman. So it seems like there's an unhappy situation at the club, and when you are in charge of things and you're paying the bills, I think it's in any household, you make all the decision, and he's probably decided that I'm going to run this. I'm spending my money. I'm running it.
Interestingly, Ian, I don't know what you've noticed from our X feed and everything, but I've noticed that a lot of the fans' reactions are such apathy now and disappointment about what's gone on, and it's been such a crash since the celebrations at Wembley back in May, that most of the fans' reactions to me have been, well, it's about time, you should have done it before. There's not been much of a positive, well done the majority shareholder for taking it by the scruff of the neck. Now, I think I'm glad he's taking it by the scruff of the neck, and as Joe says, it's his money. He's sick of these people. Of course, let's not forget, Henrik Kraft is a part owner of Sport Republic with him. So yes, a minority shareholder, but you can't sack the owner, and you can move the chairman. So I think it's a positive, because you don't get to where Dragan Solak is in life without being decisive and without being a leader and without doing what you do to make the money he's made as a media mogul. So look, he's going to the fact that he is I'm sure a very shrewd operator, and he's now going to be hands-on at the club rather than entrusting it to everyone else. And it was so, for me, when you try and read between the lines, his phrase, "I'm deeply disappointed with the football," tells me that he had no one else to sack. Russell Martin's gone. He's not going to blame the chief exec. The chairman, who's been involved in football matters, Henrik Kraft, who's not a football person, his time he's got to move out and he's going to be on the board of Sport Republic, but he's not now at Southampton. So I think that's Dragan Solak saying, you can think what you like, but it's my money. And I'm going to take it, and I'm glad he's done it, Ian. I'm really glad he's done it.
Yeah, and obviously he's put money into the situation. He hasn't put the money in to get 6 points. He put the money into the club to keep them in the Premier League. We all knew it was going to be a tough task, but that it's been this tough, I don't think he expected that. I think he expected a little bit more than what he has seen. And because he has put quite decent money into the club,
over £200 million.
So we forget that he has actually done that, but the ones that has decided and bought the players we have done, that's where the problem has now become visible for everyone, that we haven't bought the players that's needed to be a Premier League team for next year. Okay, mathematically we're still in the chance of it, and the season isn't over, but I can understand, Dragan. I totally do that.
And by the way, Ian, for those fans who write on X and stuff, well, sack Ankerson, the recruitment's been terrible. I can only say the same thing. You can't sack an owner. Okay, now Rasmus Ankerson is the chairman of Gostepi, one of Sport Republic's other clubs, but he's absolutely been part of the transfer committee at Southampton, dealing with recruitment. But there has to be a better solution, and there is such a gap between the manager and now Dragan Solak and the chief executive. Where is the brains of the football operation with the football experience at the club? Because above Ivan Juric, there isn't any on a day-to-day basis. And of course, I mentioned Jason Wilcox earlier. They never replaced him.
No, and he's sat here in this club now, and running a football club, and football is difficult in many ways, because when you buy players, especially when you buy players for a football club like Southampton, it is tough to buy, because you haven't got the same financial muscles as a lot of the bigger clubs. And when you come up, you have to be smart, and you got to buy the players that fits in and can keep you alive. If you look at Brentford, look at Bournemouth, where they have gone, they survived, and then they have managed to build from there. And that's the point you got to do. But you got to find the players around in Europe and in England, and produce your own from your own academy, which can take you to that level, and then you can go on. But the first year is so vital, and we haven't been nowhere near it.
Yeah, we do have Mark Bitcon, who's director of football operations, but he is that for the Sport Republic group, of which of course Southampton are part, and he's involved with setting up the scouting networks around the world to spot the best talent and so on, hence the Wellington coming from Brazil and that sort of thing. That's all come out of this setup, so there are positives to what's been going on. But ultimately, the other frustrating thing about football, as Joe says, football's not an easy business, is that when you're Dragan Solak, you put the money in, but you are completely out of control of what's going to happen with that money. You, unlike any other business which you can direct and you know what's going to happen when you spend money, in football it's a lottery. You could get the best player, the best 20-year-old in Europe, but if you break his leg after 3 games, you don't get him for a season, you can still get relegated without him. Anything can happen because there's so many unknowns in football, and you're just not in control like any normal business. Now, for me, if they had, for example, here's a good one, a good example for everybody, right? I was told, I don't know if this is true, Ian, but I also know the person who told me, wouldn't have said it just for fun, that Liam Delap, for example, who Saints chased, who ended up going to Ipswich, did speak to Saints, of course, but I was told he didn't feel the love from Saints that he felt from Ipswich. Now, you could argue that is because he didn't feel the same money that Ipswich gave him. That can be another word for love in football terms, can't it? But it might be Saints just didn't make him feel wanted. It might be the people talking to him weren't the expert football people like Jason Wilcox might have been, who would have said the things to perhaps trigger him and make him sign on the dotted line. So I think when you talk about getting football people in to do football things, the reason isn't just to recruit and find the right players, is to deal with football people in a football way that they understand, to be relatable to Liam Delap, to the agents, to the managers of players, and to young players. Because as Joe says, Southampton haven't got the pull of a big club. So how do they attract good young players? It's about what they can offer them, the game time on the pitch they can offer them, the development, the facilities, the area, everything. And if you're not made to feel really special by Southampton, you'll choose another club probably, because they've got to somehow, either the personality of the person recruiting has to be someone you want to sign for, and the manager combined, or why do you get them above other teams if you're not paying more money? It's hard to do. So I think the little things matter, like the football people in the football positions.
And just to defend a lot of football players as well, not every football player thinks about money first. They do think about where can I develop, and Liam Delap, he obviously his dad played for us for a few years when I played there, but you gotta remember, when you're young, you want to develop, you want to be taken care of, you want to make sure you're welcomed, you want to make sure that you come to a club that can help you become better, because that's the idea you have. We were in the Premier League, so we kind of attracted him in that way, but then how you sell the club is so important to anyone that comes in, not just the money. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you got more money at Ipswich. I don't think it's that simple. No. I think, because is there any difference for some football players thinks about money more than anything else, but I think Liam, when he was here and when he's gone to Ipswich, I think the development of his football career has been as important as how much he earns, because I don't think it would have been much difference in terms of money for Ipswich or Southampton. I think they would be quite similar, and I think that's when you got to meet him. And how do you convince someone to come to a club like Southampton? You got to have football people who has the love for it and show you the feeling and how passionate you are about the football club you are representing. And that's not just shown in money, that's shown in how you behave and how do you sell the club, how do you want to play football, how the manager looks at it, and everything that comes on the football pitch and the training ground, because that's when you develop.
Yeah, it's a really fine line, Ian, I think. So every edge you can get makes a massive difference. So I think the brain drain of not having a director of football or someone of Jason Wilcox's standing has made a difference since he left the club. And I think when Dragan Solak says he needs to increase and improve, he's going to do something about the football management side of the business, I think that's exactly what we're talking about. Whether it is also a head of recruitment that just works with Southampton, I think he's needed, not one that's spread across all three clubs. I think they need somebody on it 24/7, who's constantly looking at what they're doing, as well as a director of football. So I think there's two positions that probably need to come in to help and support any manager who's in place, So I think there's a lot of work to be done, but boy, does he need to get these appointments right now. Do they need some people to reset the club? And I know people want to criticise Rasmus Ankersen. You cannot deny that some of the signings have been excellent, like Mateus Fernandes. There have been good signings. Of course, the flops get talked about more than the good signings, and I think they got it wrong, whether it be that transfer committee of Henrik Kraft, maybe Rasmus, Phil Parsons, Russell Martin, whatever. They got it wrong thinking they could just buy mid-price young players and they could develop them quick enough to survive in the Premier League. We now know they've got that wrong. That's a fact.
And just to get it wrong a second time, though, Joe, as well, the fact that they got it wrong the first time, you can say, well, you can learn from our mistakes. And as you mentioned Bournemouth earlier, they seem to learn from their mistakes the next time. But to sign players and to sign the wrong kind of players and not to bring up the quality, how sort of inexcusable is that to do that a second time when you've already gone down once and now you're in a same position but a lot worse?
And that's the worrying bit, and this is where the club has kind of been with. Look at Russell Martin's playing way or tactics. It's kind of you failed and failed. You kind of have to learn from your mistakes, and we should have learned from Burnley from the year before. We need to take that. But when you go up to the Premier League, in my eyes, the level is such a high level. You need to buy experienced players. You got to have an experienced player. You got to have an experienced striker. He is the most important player for a football team when you play football. If you don't get that striker, you are kind of shooting yourself a little bit in the foot, hoping that a young, inexperienced player with no experience is going to go out and dominate national players. You play against teams with national players on every position and on the bench. So you're not going to get it. The level is unbelievable. And if you don't take that serious, like we haven't, and in my eyes, the club hasn't taken that serious, they hoped that some of these youngsters would step it up and be good enough. They needed guidance from someone on the pitch who could kind of drag them in the ears when they needed to and have a go at them and be a little bit brutal with them. And the leadership is missing, in my eyes, on the pitch because there is no one there to kind of give it out.
We saw that last week, didn't we, Adam, with Swansea in the FA Cup, the massive gulf between Saints and Swansea. You're only actually about 12 places below whatever it is in the football pyramid, and then you've got Saints on 6 points. So the massive gulf between that and where they are in the Premier League and the top half of the Premier League is huge.
Yeah, I mean, and also, of course, Saints were a club with a big parachute payment having got relegated, so the gap between those clubs and the rest of the Championship, and that's as much what we're seeing here, because a lot of the players Saints have signed, frankly, you could have signed in the Championship, like Brereton Diaz and Cameron Archer and stuff. So, you know, it's a gulf that we look at Saints and how bad they've been and how bad their situation is, and then you think, how can they possibly be better still than most of the teams in the Championship, being this bad, having just been in the Championship 6 months ago, 9 months ago. So it's an absolute football quandary, isn't it? But it just seems to happen. As soon as you go in the Premier League, yeah, look, they've got players like Aaron Ramsdale, they've got Taylor Harwood-Bellis, they've got Ryan Bednarek. I would say those three are Premier League players. I'd say on a good day, Flynn Downs is a Premier League player, Kyle Walker-Peters is a Premier League player, Joe Rebo's on the cusp. So of course there's enough there to beat teams in the Championship. But the difference between where they are now and where they need to be is probably still, for me, as Jim Ratcliffe comes out below us, doing a bit of his Ineos money, the gap for me, they probably need 4 or 5 players, Southampton, 4 or 5 players of Premier League experience to make them a survivable team in the Premier League to the squad they are now, and one of them would have to be a goal scorer.
Yeah, and the striker is, we said it since we went down last time with Danny Ings. We go back to Danny Ings, we keep talking about Danny Ings, but that shows how important it is. When we had bad times and when Danny Ings was here, he kept scoring goals, he kept bailing us out. Even though we lost games, he kept scoring, and that gives you that little belief that you are able to maybe get out of trouble. And I think football has lost the feel factor a little bit, and I see that at academies as well. There's too many students with computers analysing things instead of having the feel factor of what a first touch does, where do you run, the experience that you can give on and pass on to players. I think that's been lost for a little bit at the academy. We produce so many talents. Now we got Tyler Dibbling and Nathan Wood coming up, but we haven't had that for a year either, and that's the small kind of club where we were good at as Southampton Football Club, getting all these youngsters coming out and becoming superstars. That has been a really negative kind of way in the last couple of years, but luckily, hopefully that would change. And I think we need to get more football people in football. We combine with the technology, and so you can look at a football game and say the feel factor. Does it has to be on his XG or what he's been running? No, it's the feel factor of a goal scorer, feel factor of a winger, or midfield player or centre half, what they are doing. That kind of, in my eyes, are disappearing.
Yeah, you can't analyse little things and positions players take up in the split second of moments when a centre back nudges a striker away from the ball before it's even got there. That sort of stuff, that anticipatory stuff, that reading stuff, the Paul McGrath school of football, Ian. That's what we're talking about. Making the game look easy, tidying up at the back, knowing where to be before you even need to be there, never being in a hurry. That stuff's not analytics, that is just talent and football brain. And I think that's the stuff, when Joe says that's what's missing, that's what this team are missing, because there isn't enough nous in this team, there isn't enough wisdom on the pitch in this side to get them through difficult moments, and that needs to change with a backbone that needs to improve heavily.
Well, as we were saying, Ivan Juric may not have had much to say about that chairman change at Saints, but he has recently sat down to tell Dragan Solak and the Saints board what he thinks about the squad and how it needs to change and improve going forward. And we asked him how well received his thoughts were.
I think it's fundamental. No, I have my idea. I think that after 3 weeks, 1 month, I know what we need. I tell them what I need, what I think it's we have to do, and it's not easy now, but I think the whole club is with that idea now to create something.
And the new Saints boss also didn't rule out bringing a player into the squad this month to help Saints get better.
I think after 3 weeks or 1 month, I have a pretty clear idea what kind of the player we need, and if somebody came in this moment, it would be great for create something important.
We'll get a team news recap in a second from Adam, but let's just come back to Adam and Joe with half an hour to kick off at Old Trafford. Southampton and Manchester United on smart speaker sounds and all Solent frequencies. What about talking of players coming in and coming back? Shea Charles recall, Joe. An interesting fans forum last night, it's fair to say. Sheffield Wednesday, Chanziri dropping the bombshell at the very end of a 5-hour fans forum just before midnight. Someone asked him if Charles is going back to Southampton, and he said, let me just check my phone. He checked it at 5 to 12 and then came back and said, I've just seen he's gone back. So that was quite an entertaining press conference. But what's your thoughts on that? Is he even going to play for Southampton, do you think?
Well, he did the right thing in my eyes from where he was when we used him last season, and you could see he's a talented young player, as many of the ones we got. And again, he's on the journey of going towards becoming a Premier League player. So in one way, in my eyes, the club has done the right thing. Shea Charles has done the right thing. He's gone and done very well this season in the Championship, and then he kind of has to develop. It takes time to become a Premier League player, and you need that help from, like we just talked about, experienced players around you who can drag you up a little bit. He needs to learn from someone, and sometimes learning from another youngster isn't the right way, because then you have no one helping you. And I think that journey has begun for him, and in my eyes, that is a sign of a player who wants to be a Premier League player and be a good player in the future, because that's what he's done. He's gone to play regularly in the Championship and done well in the Championship, and now it's been recalled, and let's see, is that the right time, or is it the wrong time, or is it just a cover, or is that a sign of some players leaving the club? Or I don't know how we look at it, and I don't know how the club sees it. In my eyes, it probably would have been better to let him finish and complete the season where he was, because I think that would have done him personally better. But I don't think he's going to sit down and say, no, I'm not coming back, because he is technically Southampton player.
Well, and also, Ian, they could lend him out to someone else and get a new loan fee for him rather than just leave him there.
Yeah, that's another option, isn't it? Just under half an hour to kick off here, though. We'll talk more in depth about that and lots of other topics between now and kick off at 8 o'clock. It's time now, though, for your team news recap.
The only place to hear every Saints, Cherries and Pompey game live.
BBC Radio Solent.
So Southampton at Old Trafford to take on Manchester United, our Thursday night Solent sport coverage. And here's your commentator, Adam Blackmore.
Ian, thank you. 2 changes for Saints from the side that got thrashed by Brentford and St Mary's 11 days ago. Sugawara in for Wood, Fernandez back from suspension, in for Onuachu, and the front 3 that played against Swansea in the FA Cup and scored 3 goals between them are starting tonight. Dibbling, Fernandez and Suleiman. It looks like Bree is going back into a back 3. Manchester United also play with 3 at the back under Ruben Amorim. Garnacho comes in for the suspended Diogo Dalot, and Yoro comes in for Maguire at the back. This one is live on BBC Sounds, on BBC Radio Solent across the south on all frequencies, and it's kick off at 8 o'clock with myself and Joe Tessom.
Elsewhere in the Premier League tonight, Ipswich looking to widen the gap between them and the bottom 3 as they welcome Brighton and Hove Albion. AFC Bournemouth have agreed terms with Chelsea over a move for 19-year-old star Zane Silcott-Dubry. The deal for the winger includes a sell-on clause. Portsmouth have been fined £50,000 and had their matchday planning criticised after crowd disturbances during their League One game with Barnsley in April, after they sealed promotion and the title that night. There's more on the BBC Sport website and app on the Portsmouth page. In tennis, Katie Bolter's hopes of making a deep run at the Australian Open ended in a second round to defeat to Veronika Kudermetova. Meanwhile, Emma Raducanu is through to the 3rd round after beating the American Amanda Anisimova. That victory sets up a match against the 2nd seed Iga Swiatek. And at the Masters Snooker in London, Sean Murphy is through to the semi-finals after a 6-2 win against Neil Robertson. Mark Allen and Mark Selby in their quarter-finals got underway about half an hour ago. And coming up, we'll talk about a few individuals. We'll run the rule over Kamaldeen Sulemana, Mateus Fernandez, Tyler Dibbling. Even Juric has been talking about them all this week. We'll discuss that with our commentary team and take a trip down memory lane and look back at the last time Saints won at Manchester United, which is nearly a decade ago. 25 minutes to kick off on the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent,
the home of live sport across the south. BBC BBC Radio Solent.
Did you know you can listen to BBC Radio Solent on your smart speaker?
Play BBC Radio Solent.
You can get Lou Hannon on that box in the corner as you work from home through the day.
News quiz for a Wednesday then.
Lucy Ambash will keep you entertained through your afternoon and when you get home at the end of the day.
And it's time for my big guest this afternoon.
You can even set your smart speaker to wake you up with BBC Radio Solent every morning.
Plus the news stories that are coming your way.
And there's Solent Sport every night from 6.
Bournemouth have beaten Manchester City.
Listen on your smart speaker anytime. Just ask it to play BBC Radio Solent.
Ian Wilding.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Smart speaker sounds, FM, digital radio and Freeview this game tonight from 8. This texter says at one time, many years ago, we would have expected to be beaten at Old Trafford. These days we can go there despite our league position and be quietly confident that we can come away with the points. Patrick in Dorchester says, please reassure me this new manager is just temporary and the club are preparing someone who will have everyone's respect and will really take the club forward. You can tell already his backup staff do not have that necessary respect. And did you notice on Sunday that none of his staff celebrated with him when we scored or at the final whistle? In fact, the person sat next to him in a black and white woolly hat looked completely disinterested throughout. I predict in a year's time that Adam will be interviewing a different person sitting in the managerial hot seat, says Patrick in Dorchester. Watch this space with that one. If you want to text 81333, WhatsApp 08000 321 333, Solent your first word for both, tweet us at Solent Sport. And Ken in Asher says, good evening Ian, Adam and Joe. Again, labelled them as the two Ronnies. I agree with Joe that an experienced player should start is Adam Lallana. Let's get Danny Ings back from West Ham. I'm sure he would jump at the chance of starting matches rather than on the bench and bring back James Ward-Prowse for his goals from free kicks, etc. From Ken in Ashurst. Let's bring back our commentary team. They've called you the two Ronnies again. You're yes, that's going to roll off the tongue, that one. I think that might stick now, Joe.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that's fine. I can be a Ronnie. It's all right. I've been called a lot worse than that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we've got one or two people get messaging already about Ivan Juric. Is he going to be there in a year's time? We've had Patrick saying, please tell me it's temporary. But that was something that you discussed, wasn't it, on Going Home with Adam and Joe after the Swansea game. And, these tough run of fixtures he's already got coming up with Man United, Forest and a couple after that.
Yeah, it is. He's been put in a very difficult position. Firstly, whoever stepped into that role after Russell Martin and where the club is in for a very tough ride, and we kind of knew that. But in one way, I don't think, if I'm him, and I'm not him, but if I'm him, he shouldn't worry too much about that, because the problem is here before he turned up. He's just taken it on. He's been brave and taken the problem on. And I think he's a decent manager. I think he's a decent person. He's played a top-level football. He's managed for many years. He's put the team into a system. Yes, he hasn't taken any points, if you counted Fulham one, when he was sitting by us at the press end. But he has organised the team, and we look more like a football team, except for the Brentford game where we got absolutely smashed. But it's a tough one. It's difficult, but all he needs to do is get more than 6 points in a very quick succession. But at the moment, his problem, as Russell Martin's problem is, or whoever would get into that chair now when we are in the Premier League, is the players. We haven't got good enough players, and it's very obvious that that's the big problem. And that's, like we said many times before, the worst problem you can have in the Premier League. You've got to have players who are good enough to compete, and I think that's the main problem.
Well, one of Saints' biggest problems as well has been their inability to hurt other teams and score goals. But remarkably, they've only scored 12 in 20 Premier League games. Ivan Juric has been trying to fix that by playing different combinations up front. He's brought in Sulemana and Onuachu from the fringes. He's played Dibbling up front. He's playing him tonight. He's tried Mateus Fernandes in the front three. He's given chances to Adam Armstrong and Cameron Archer. And in the FA Cup on Sunday, he also went with that front three of Fernandes, Sulemana and Dibbling. So what does he like Dibbling? What does he like about him as a striker?
This moment now, I think he's better when he play more forward, because he don't have to do too much defensive work, and he's ready to score, to go 1 against 1, and for now it's okay for him.
Joe, let's just hope that, he can go from strength to strength, because that's just dreadful, isn't it? 12 goals in 20 games.
Yeah, he has to find, since we haven't bought a striker in this window, and I don't know if we are, but if in the situation you are now, he's trying to find a solution that gives you goals. And Tyler Dibling got 2 against Swansea. Sulemana got 1, so he's kind of looking towards that, and he's right though. You can't let Tyler Dibling do too many things. You got to find a role for a young player who's very talented. Play on his strong sides. What is his strong side? Where can you kind of save him from all the other jobs that he isn't as good at, which he has to learn, but you can try and make the team better by using the strong sides of Tyler Dibling, which is he is quick, he's got a good left foot, he's strong, he can turn and run at people, and now he showed that he can also score goals, but you got to be put in the right position to do that, and sometimes when you play in midfield like he has done, you have to do all the defensive work, and then you have to run up and down, and that is hard, and it's hard to, when you get to your chance in front of goal, you have done so much work before that when you need a little bit of kind of firepower and concentration and instincts to kick in, you might just be a little bit too slow because you're tired, and that's what good goal scorers kind of live on that. They live on the moment to find the right positions, but you got to allow them to do that, and maybe that's what he's trying to do with Tyler Dibling, to find that instinct that he can score goals.
Because it's quite clear that he recognises that enormous potential that Dibling has. I think it's a factor of he's got so much potential that he really wants to get the best out of him.
Oh, look at him, he's 18 and he doesn't look out of place at all. He's physical from last year, he's suddenly turned into a man, and we forget that he's only 18, and being 18 playing in the Premier League, that's quite rare in today's Premier League, and I'm really impressed with him and how he's taken on the season, and can he go on, can he keep his concentration, can he be hungry enough though, and I think he is, so it's really nice to see his development.
And that game against Swansea on Sunday, that was the first time Sulemana started 2 games in a row for Saints since November 2023. Made that 3 tonight, but what has the new Saints manager seen in him, and how does he view Sulemana's progress of late?
At Rennes in France, he was really good, and sometimes it's like this, the things that doesn't go well, and you have some problems or everything, but I think he's good. He's fast. He's a technique. He can do it well, and his attitude in these 3 weeks was excellent. And other day he did really good game to score and assist and do other things like pressing, running, everything maybe that he missed before.
So just under 20 minutes to kick off on Solent Sports. Saints at Manchester United. It sounds like the atmosphere is building. Joe Tessam there in the press box. But Joe, let's just hope that goal gets him going. He scored those 2 against Liverpool. He hasn't scored since, up until the FA Cup. But he has proved at previous clubs. He started in Denmark. He was only 18 when he was scoring a goal every 3. So there's obviously something there.
Yeah, I said this before, and I think with his qualities, he's potential to be a superstar. But it's like with football, you have, and I've seen them many times myself when you play football. You see people who come in with extremely good qualities, but mentally they don't seem to be able to handle those qualities that they possesses, and that's just how we are as humans. We don't find our qualities, and sometimes what we have in our heads in compared to the physical attributes doesn't actually match each other, and sometimes that's how I look at Sulemana, that his head isn't with the fantastic physique he's got, and obviously he's been injured and hasn't played much, and play time for a football player is so important, and he's missed up big time for a very, very long time for different reasons, injuries, not playing much for Russell Martin, and that is a problem. You've got to build, especially when you play on top level. If you're going to get anything out of a football player, they got to be playing week out and week in, and that's one of the things I think maybe have fallen apart for Sulemana, and that's, in my eyes, affected him the mental side of football.
And that's got to affect your confidence, hasn't it? I think he came off, was it first 20 minutes against Spurs, Russell Martin's last game in charge. And then there was a couple of games last season, I think it was Huddersfield away, when he was taken off, and there was one or two things said about him post-match as well, about how he didn't do what he wanted him to do. So how much does that affect a player mentally, Joe?
Of course, having the manager's kind of positivity is important. If your manager is kind of bringing you down or criticising you all the time, you're not going to have a good ride. No one has a good ride with criticism. You have to be criticised in top football, but it's a way you criticise and how you communicate with players, and especially you forget how young he is as well. He's not an old player, but so you've got to be a little bit careful with. Yes, you've got to be told the truth on how you are performing, because you're playing the best football league in the world, and if you're not realising it yourself, you got to kind of have to tell it. But it is such a balanced point with certain players, and I think with Sulemana, have we got it right, or is it down to Sulemana himself? And I think it is down to Sulemana himself, because I think if you are quality players, I think he should have come out and been good in any system or under any manager. He should just be confident with what he's got, and I want him to be better one-on-one. I want him to, any time he can go past players, just keep going, be selfish, step on the full power, just go. And that's what we're kind of missing. He stops and waits for people, and it's kind of a little bit annoying. And even against Swansea, he went past two players, skipped past two, and then we're thinking, can he go past the third one? Go past the third one, just keep going. And then he kind of stopped and turned back, and that's the kind of Sulemana that we have kind of learned to see over the last 2 years when he's been playing. But with the pace and the technique, he should be a threat in any team he plays for, but he's not.
But as you say, you do forget how young he is. He's the same age as Nathan Wood and Taylor Harwood-Bellis. He's 1 year older than Ronnie Edwards, but you don't necessarily see him as that, do you? It's one of those players you think maybe slightly older than he is at 22.
Yeah, well, he kind of looks a little bit older because his physique is quite strong in terms of muscle mass and things like that. But he is a young player, and just remember, he hasn't played many games in the Premier League, so he's also learning his trade. Should we be a little bit more patient with him? Yeah, I truly think so. Now it seems like he's got a manager in Ivan Juric that is actually quite happy with having him, and that's fine.
Ian, I'll smile with you, because I was trying to get Joe to point at which player you were talking about as I jumped back on with my headphones, and he thought I wanted his team sheet, so he started passing it to me across the commentary.
Were you playing charades?
Yeah, basically I was trying to, but for once we weren't on the same wavelength. It doesn't happen very often.
Miscommunication. Well, we'll move on to a new player, so we'll start afresh now. We'll move on to Mateus Fernandes coming up against his former manager tonight, Ruben Amorim, who sent him out on loan from Sporting Lisbon last year, and is Ivan Juric's view on the rising 20-year-old star.
The other day we had like 3 strikers with Matias, Sulemana and Dibbling. They're really young and they did really well. I think Matias has everything to become very good player now, because he can run, he's technical, he's strong, he can play more position on the pitch, and I really like him.
There we go. Let's bring back Adam and Joe now. Adam is back into the press box with us. Adam returns.
I've been tarting around on national radio. Apologies.
You've been moving around. You have been. But good to have you back with us now for the last 10 minutes before the game, the pre-match. But what do you make of his performances this season? Do you think he's exceeded expectations? Because there wasn't a lot known about him when he did arrive, Adam.
I think he has absolutely exceeded our expectations. He's 20 years old. You remember he spent last year on loan at Estoril, so Ruben Amorim didn't want him in the squad, or didn't need him at Sporting Lisbon as they won the Portuguese league. And he's had a great season at Estoril. I remember we spoke to his Estoril coach live on Solent Sport when he signed, and he said how good a player he is, and we've seen that. And the best thing about Tyler Dibbling being talked about by lots of other clubs and everybody is that means they're not talking about Mateus Fernandes, because I think he's at least as talented as Tyler Dibbling. I think he's a brilliant midfielder, and I think Saints will, if they could keep Dibbling and Fernandes if they get relegated, great. But they also probably the two most saleable assets they have to get money back, and that's going to be a quandary. And that's why, another reason, by the way, why Dragon Solent needs somebody good running the football operation. So look, Fernandes for me is, when he wasn't playing against Brentford, Saints didn't have anything coming through midfield, carrying the ball, making an impact, going through the heart of the pitch. Even against United tonight, it's going to be hard. He's got Kobe Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte to get through. But I think Fernandes has got everything. He's hungry. He carries the ball well. He can score goals. He can tackle. He gets back. He's very competitive. I think he's a brilliant footballer, and I think he'll go on to have a wonderful career.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Joe? He's got as much potential there as dribbling, as Adam says.
I think his one problem Fernandes has is his goal scoring attributes. I think he can be better there. I think that's one very big learning point, to taking those situations in the front of goal and taking care of those. I think that's his kind of strongest learning point for being an offensive midfield player, like I see him in the way. I know we call him a striker, but what he's good at is that he when he gets the ball, he moves it quickly. He moves it on his first or second touch. And the way he moves it is like a top player. He does. He will quickly move it, even though it's under pressure. He will move the ball in the right direction, but then let the ball go. So he has one touch, move the ball, one touch, move the ball, and then moves himself. And what he's good at, and we saw a good example against Swansea, I think it was, when he gets the ball, he doesn't slow down. He gets quicker with the ball, and he ties up players. He uses the ball and the situation on the pitch to tie up players, to then let the ball go out to an overlap. And he's created that space by moving the ball in the right position and tying up the defenders towards him. So he sucks in players. He does it with the kind of quality, good touches, and with a kind of high pace on the ball. And that's what he's good at. And the work rate he's got is absolutely fantastic.
And Adam, just under 10 minutes to kick off there. How's the atmosphere building? I can hear Casey and the Sunshine Band full whack behind you.
You can't knock a bit of that, can you?
You can't.
You can't knock a bit of give it up.
Not on a football ground, absolutely.
Well, I've noticed now that there is the away end has turned into a standing area, which wasn't, I don't think, 2 years ago when we were here. So safe standing for the away fans there. It's not all round that east stand, but it's certainly there. It's not in front of us either. So nice for those away fans. There to our right, about 50 yards, and fair play to them. When you got 6 points after 20 games, you could easily keep your money in your wallet, couldn't you, and not bother travelling up on a Thursday night to watch a team play who might get thrashed. So I know, credit to the fans. They've been brilliant this season under very trying circumstances. It is a good atmosphere. The Premier League foliage is just coming out onto the pitch, all the branding, the sprinklers are still going strong here. The weather, Ian, for what it's worth, has been clear sky all afternoon. It's crisp and cold. It's actually a really nice winter's night, and like I said to you earlier, there's been fans milling around, and this place has been buzzing around since about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's unbelievable how they just pour in from everywhere so early, but they're in, and the boardroom people away to our left are starting to take their seats. I'll see who we've got. Luckily for me, the boards and the chairman of clubs and everything, and the key people tend to sit just the other side of the seats where we are, so sometimes we're within about 10 yards of them, so it's good to see who's made the journey up tonight, that's for sure.
And we'll look back in a minute and hear your commentary of that last time Saints won at Manchester United, Adam. Charlie Austin on his debut, 2016. It was the Dutchman meeting Koeman against Van Gaal, Adam. But your memories of that day?
Yeah, I mean, Van Gaal and Koeman, it was how we were teeing it up. The two Dutch managers who I think had fallen out when Koeman played for him at Barcelona, if memory serves me right. So it was that period, and of course Van Gaal came in to steady the ship after David Moyes. He was a very strongly spoken man. Koeman didn't take any rubbish off anyone, that's for sure. He was always his own man. So to beat Manchester United here 2 years in a row was unbelievable. And that season, that second season when they finished 6th under Koeman, I said to Joe earlier, what a golden era that was, when they were winning away from home and doing things, and I think they won like 6 of the last 8 games or something to end up being in the top 6. But the win up here, and I think Charlie Austin had just signed and he just nodded it in from close range late on. I mean, come in on the 87th minute, I think, onto the pitch. It was absolutely perfect, and Koeman had a smile like a Cheshire cat, as they say, the grin on his face.
Well, you've teed it up beautifully, and let's take a look back now and take that trip down memory lane. We'll cross over to your commentary team in a couple of minutes' time for Southampton at Manchester United in the Premier League, which kicks off at 8. But as Adam's saying, Charlie Austin scoring 7 minutes into his debut. It was certainly a lacklustre Man United who were booed off at Old Trafford. Let's take a look back now to the 23rd of January 2016.
So here we go. Kick-off from Southampton, who won here last year by 1-0. The ball back with Ryan Bertrand, who immediately launches it long. No place in the starting team for Charlie Austin. He's on the bench at the moment. Here it comes. Ward-Prowse whips it to the heart of the box. Free header! And Southampton have the lead late! And on his debut, off the bench, Charlie Austin scores for Southampton and celebrates with his teammates, and the Saints fans travelling away to my right at Old Trafford. A free header for Charlie Austin, 12 yards out. How's that for £4 million? Manchester United 0, Southampton 1. Mike Jones looked at his whistle, looks at his watch, puts a whistle to his mouth, and Southampton have back-to-back league wins at Old Trafford as Charlie Austin scores on his debut for the club. Coming off the bench with just 11 minutes to go, it took him 8 minutes to head his first goal for Southampton. They have beaten Manchester United here, and they have done it convincingly. 1-0 it might be, but they've been the better team from the off, and a poor United continue to be poor. But Southampton have found the killer instinct with Charlie Austin, and they have beaten St Dave, and a deserved victory, Dave. They started the game better, controlled the first half, and after 10 minutes of the second half, they did the same again.
Great to look back for a win at Southampton at Manchester United 9 years ago. And a reminder, very easy to download BBC Sounds on your phone if you haven't already. You just search BBC Sounds into your app store. You'll be able to ask to fill in your postcode, and then you're all good to go for all your content about your club, and we've got so much available for you as well. For Southampton, Going Home with Adam and Joe, there'll be a latest BBC Sounds episode as part of our series after today's game. There's interviews, episodes. All you have to do is subscribe and you'll get notifications as soon as they are uploaded, whether that's episodes of Going Home with Adam and Joe, post-match interviews, pre-match, you name it, we've got it. So we'll cross over to your commentary team now then for Southampton at Manchester United in the Premier League. It's on all Radio Solent frequencies, BBC Sounds and Smart Speaker. Your summarisers, Joe Tesson. Your commentator, Adam Blackmore.
Thank you, Ian. It's quite loud here, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Old Trafford, live on Solent Sport and on BBC Sounds, as we sit here looking down at the players lined up on either side of the halfway line. Alongside the officials this evening, John Brooks, the referee, and assistant Simon Bennett and Daniel Robatham. And the Manchester United players shaking the hands of the Saints players in their yellow kit with the blue shorts and the yellow socks. The Saints fans away to our right have suddenly filled up their seats as they've all come up from the concourse beneath. The same are right round Old Trafford from the Stratford end to my left, on a dark lit sky with the bright lights across the top of the stands and the Sir Alex Ferguson stand opposite. And United, when it's like this, full Old Trafford at night is a great football ground if you don't look for the cracks and the creaks underneath, that's for sure. Saints manager Ivan Juric, 2 changes from the side that got thrashed by Brentford in that terrible last Premier League game at home at the start of this month. Sugawara comes back into the team. He comes in for Nathan Wood, who's had a good run, has had 6 Premier League starts since the start of December, but he drops out Sugawara gets his second start under Ivan Juric, having started the West Ham game on Boxing Day. He comes in, Bree keeps his place, Bednarek and Harwood-Bellis, the former Manchester City player, of course, back in Manchester to play at Old Trafford. Aaron Ramsdale is in goal for Saints. His only clean sheet against Manchester United in his first ever game against them for Bournemouth in a Cherries 1-0 win. The midfield inside Sugawara and Walker-Peters, Ugachukwu and Aribo keep their places, with Flynn Downs on the bench having come back from that dead leg. And the front three we've been talking about that started against Swansea start again tonight: Dibling, Fernandes and Sulemana. The Saints bench: McCarthy, Manning, Downs, Smallbone, Armstrong, Lallana, Wood, Archer and Onu Achu. Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is trying to avoid a bad history for United. They've lost their last 3 home games to Newcastle, Bournemouth and Forest. They've not lost 4 in a row in the top flight since 1930. That's 95 years. That's what's on the line for them tonight. He's only got 8 points from his 9 Premier League games, but he's certainly a man who has faith in his own ability, that is for sure. He makes 2 changes in the team that got that terrific 2-2 draw at Liverpool. Garnacho in for the suspended Dalot, who got sent off against Arsenal in the Cup penalty win on Sunday, and in comes teenager Yoro, who comes in, Lenny Yoro, for Harry Maguire. Onana in goal, De Ligt, Yoro and Martinez the back 3, Mazraoui, Ugarte, Mainu and Garnacho, and then Diallo, Højlund and Fernandes seem to be continuing as the front 3. Joe will check all the formations and positions out. We are live and underway at Old Trafford on BBC Radio Solent on a Thursday night in the Premier League, as Andre Onana clears the ball forward from near the centre circle. United playing from left to right as we look down towards the east stand, so they'll play towards the Stretford end in the second half, which is what they want to do. And Saints already trying to move up the pitch. Bednarek marshalling that defence in between Harwood-Bellis and Bree, and it is Sugawara and Walker-Peters out wide. And now Sulemana tries to close the ball down against Lenny Yoro. Let's see what this 19-year-old's about. He's not made that many appearances, came to United injured, but when you pay 50-odd million for a teenager, you know he's going to be, or should be, quite a good player. Ball will bounce for Aribo in the United half on the right. Gets it back. Nice pass from James Breen, and Aribo's pass, unfortunately, didn't find Fernandes, and it's a shame it didn't, because it would have been in a good position. And here comes Amad Diallo, who's been terrific, the Ivorian. 25 yards from goal on the right, and just as I say that, luckily for us, commentator's curse, and he kicks it out of play instead of trying to find Bruno Fernandes. Let's see how they've changed. I think Diallo has taken the wing-back role. Mazraoui's gone to the left. Diallo's taken the place of Dalot, isn't he? With Garnacho, I think, playing in the front 3. Joe Tesson, you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. Very simple. I can't put it any other way. And we're playing like Walker-Peters on the left and Sugawara, as we thought, on the as right wing back, and the rest of it is similar. Yeah, James Bree in his normal position, and Harwood-Bellis to the left in the 3 in the back.
Yeah, Sulemana playing with Dibling, and Fernandes trying to come through as from deep in midfield as almost a false 9, Joe. It's a phrase that will make Guy Whittingham turn in his bed as he's listening. 2
similar formations in a way, Adam, with a back 3 or back 5 or whatever it is, and 2 in midfield. So evenly matched, Adam. So we'll see who makes the most out of this. I know Man United is at home, so we'll see.
Strong challenge from Leslie Ugachukwu, who gets it back for Saints in the Man United half, out on that far right hand side. Then he makes a block from the clearance from Mazraoui, and United have to go back from Matthias De Ligt to their goalkeeper Andre Onana in his second season. Just 6 Premier League clean sheets out of 20 for Manchester United. That's part of the problems they've had at the back, that's for sure. And Onana's been one of their best players since he signed for £47 million from Inter Milan. Now, United give it away, do they? They nearly did. Manuel Ugarte got lucky there, and then he's poked it through the Uruguayan cleverly, so Fernandes can attack Saints, driving over halfway. Aribo can't get back before he gets it out to Garnacho. Garnacho scored at St Mary's, drives to the byline, in the box, pressure from James Bree, and Bree did well, but he's had to concede a corner. Saints on the back foot here, United corner, 3 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, we didn't react to a bad pass from Man United on their own side, and then midfield player, I'm not sure who it was, but
Ugarte.
But Fernandes kind of reacted a little bit late, but when he reacted and got into the challenge, Ugachukwu didn't react and helped him. He's kind of stood back and waited. You've got to get in and stop them from playing that forward pass.
Corner on the far side as we look away to my right. It's going to be whipped in right-footed, curling into under the crossbar of Ramsdale, and it does, and Ramsdale punches. I think he could have caught that. There was no challenge on him, hardly, but he punched it, so United can come again. Again, Garnacho driving down the left wing. Did well, got one cross in. Saints still can't clear it. The ball ricocheting, and then Dibbling brings it away. Shows too much of it to the defender, and in the end he's caught. And Fernandes won it back off him, and now he gets it back in the middle of the park. He's now 30 years old, Bruno Fernandes. United's talisman, of course, has been for a while. 3 goals against Southampton. You don't want me to remind you of. What you would like me to remind you of is that Fernandes has been sent off 3 times this season. So it's quite some record, as we're only in January. Here's Bednarek, not only been sent off against Manchester United, scored a goal and scored an own goal against them. That long ball forward from the back for Saints from Harwood Bellis, looking for Sulemana to tuck in behind Lenny Yoro, but Yoro read it well. And,
good defending there, Adam, and a good ball from Howard Bellis and good run from Sulemana, and we want to see more from that from Sulemana, threaten the back behind in the back 3 there.
It was good football all round, wasn't it? The idea was right from Howard Bellis, the execution not bad, but Yoro did well to keep Sulemana away from the ball. Maybe that's why he's in for a bit more speed than Maguire against that Saints front 3 that are suspected to start. As De Ligt goes square across the edge of his penalty area to Lisandro Martinez. Out on the left is Nusir Mazraoui. Mazraoui, the summer signing from Bayern Munich, plays it in. There's a foul. The referee gives a free kick to United.
Yeah, James Bree took Garnacho out of the game there, and it's not a yellow card. He just took him out in a little 1-2 situation. And it's just being tight, but it's the right thing to do, and the referee gave correctly a free kick.
I think when the season started, we all thought this would be Garnacho's sort of breakthrough year, having impressed in the past, and the 20-year-old Argentinian, still only 20 of course, he's been involved in nearly every game, but he's only started half of them for United. As Sulemana gets round the back of the United defence, and he's brilliantly tackled by the man who's replaced Garnacho a lot, Ahmad Diallo, who did fantastically well there. Then he plays it infield. That's a dodgy pass. Leslie Ugachukwu chested it down. He's going to get it back off Aribo. Not much room to work in, but he did well, and then unfortunately Walker-Peters just couldn't control it.
Yeah,
and it runs off.
Man United is playing passes up in the air and across the pitch in front of the back 3, and we are kind of almost getting, but you've got to read those situations and make them into something for yourself. We kind of haven't done that yet, Adam, but there are some opportunities here.
Yeah, there are. I think Saints have started well. Throw into United, ball out from the tackle from Walker-Peters. Ahmad Diallo will take it, and he's been in terrific form, as we said, and he's just to on my left, on this near side, the United right, and I've shown it before on my Twitter feed, the incredibly steep runoff off the pitch here at Old Trafford, and you can't really go too far back to take a throw if you wanted to take a long one, because you just fall down the hill. But we've got the throw in United, and Mazraoui plays it back to Martinez. Early ball up to Garnacho isn't bad, and then he's dispossessed, and again James Bree doing a good job going with Garnacho man for man there, just dropping in deep with him, which is something I think Juric quite favours, men just going man for man sometimes.
Yeah, he comes from Italian football. It's man against man, isn't it?
But if one of those 3 drops forward and follows someone in, Joe, there's a gap there someone needs to fill behind them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. As Walker-Peters wins it back, referee eventually gives Højlund the free kick. Bednarek says, "What's wrong with you?" I did nothing wrong. Juric says he did nothing wrong. Too late, the referee has blown John Brooks, not one of my favourites, and it's a free kick to United down below us. So there's Ivan Juric down about 30 yards in front of me and Joe in his short coat, tracksuit bottoms and trainers, and Ruben Amorim with the longer sort of puffer jacket with the hood.
I don't think it was a free kick either. I agree.
When it was a man's game, it wouldn't be a free kick.
No.
Ball back from Sugawara to Ramsdale. Ramsdale clears in his bright orange gear away to my right, hammers it up into the United half. Martinez heads it back to halfway. Ugachukwu loses out in the air, but the ball bounces for Aribo, who helps it onto this near side across the centre circle and to Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters into Sulemana on halfway. He goes first time back to Harwood Bellis, then Sulemana gets it back, does well to run it across his chest. Defender doesn't want to go with him. The referee could be give Saints something as Ugarte catches Sulemana. couldn't have been quicker to brush that off, John Brooks.
Yeah, I don't think that was a free kick either, but Sulemana could have continued instead of stopping. This is the thing, he got in front of him. Yes, he's being challenged, but it is a physical game.
That's a good tackle as well by Bednarek. He got it to Ugo Chukwu, then a good strong tackle from Martinez, and the referee says that's a free kick as Martinez downs Mateus Fernandes, who's down holding his leg or his ankle.
And this is what I'm talking about. Man United is playing into very tight areas. Bednarek goes very tight on Højlund and wins that challenge, and that's when it's a turnover, when we can take advantage of it. And we did. Picks up the second ball after Bednarek is interfering, and Fernandes gets the free kick. Very good play.
Lisandro Martinez is complaining. It did look like he got the ball, but it's actually a very good decision from John Brooks because he didn't. So it's a free kick for Saints, about 10 yards from the right-hand corner of the penalty area, away to our left. And we've had nearly 9 minutes, 0-0 at Old Trafford. Saints have started well. Considering they're rock bottom and adrift at the bottom of the Premier League, they've played really well in the first 10 minutes of the game, which doesn't count for anything, I know, but at least it's a good start.
It is, and they're pressing high and they're causing problems for Man United on their half.
Yeah, they're winning the ball back in United's half as Fernandes takes the free kick. It's Martinez-Fernandes show at the moment because it was Martinez that headed it away, and then Sugawara's pass out to Dibbling has him going backwards, but Dibbling does well to find him. They're midway inside the United half on the right wing. Aribo working out there with Sugawara and with Fernandes, who needs to get back into an influential position. Kobbie Mainoo is following him across the pitch. It's going to be an interesting battle between the two youngsters, 20-year-old Fernandes and the 19-year-old Mainoo, who's done so well. Already 10 England caps as Bree gets lucky. Closed down by Garnacho. Ball comes off the Argentinian shin. Goes out for a Saints though on halfway on the far side. Solent Sport in the Premier League at Old Trafford on a Thursday night. Another night of live football for you. It seems an endless run at the moment since Christmas, and Ian Wilding's been at the heart of it with all our shows presenting on Tuesday night with Bournemouth at Chelsea, of course. Last night Pompey at Blackburn. Now tonight Saints at Old Trafford. Monday night he was doing the fans reaction on Monday night in our 6 till 7 show. Remember, every weekday night we do a show 6 till 7. Solent Sport, all the latest local sports news, interviews, reaction and everything on your way home or whether you're just preparing dinner. 11th minute here, it is 0-0, and that's a good tackle this time from Harwood Bellis, who followed Bruno Fernandes back into his own half. Ugo Chukwu then under pressure from Mainoo goes back to Bednarek. Good ball from him. Now Fernandes can turn at the top of the centre circle and race. Mainoo's running to get back with him. He drops it off to his right hand side. Out it goes to Sugawara. Where's the movement for him? Dibbling goes out there to help him, but Sugawara's forced backwards. Saints keeping the ball though. Playing it outright to Dibbling. Nice 1-2. Sugawara can drive. Plays it infield looking for Fernandes. It's intercepted by Ugarte. Saints just one pass short of really opening United up there. And then Ugarte has to go backwards, and Southampton really working hard off the ball here, Joe Tessam, to really stifle United's attacks at the moment.
Yeah, but we created a good opportunity there, and Sugawara needs to be a little bit better with that ball, and maybe can he cross it? It chose the difficult pass which got picked up by Man United, but what we did well when he made a mistake is we pick it up again, Adam, and that's good to see.
Southampton Till I Die is the song to our right, and the Saints fans giving as good as they get from the, as always, relatively quiet Old Trafford. Bednarek up in the air, deals with that ball over Garnacho, who was down the middle from the clearance from Onana, and Saints have got it back again. Tight area now as it starts working through midfield, but Fernandes is on it tonight. He plays it out to Walker-Peters. Sulemana makes his run. The flag has stayed down for the moment. Sulemana down the left wing, taking on Yolo, goes inside, Yoro shoots, and Onana saves, comes back out to Sugawara. He crosses it in, and United hack it away through Kobbie Mainoo. Still no flag up on the far side, so Sulemana was onside, and that's the first good chance of the game, and it's fallen to Saints. Here's Dibbling. Southampton full of confidence at the moment. Aribo out to Walker-Peters on this left hand side. Good save from Onana with his legs, I think, Joe, in the end. Certainly his body.
Yeah, the angle was probably a little bit too small for Sulemana, but what a good drive. He drove past the fullback Amade and just got into the box like we've been talking about him. This is what we want him to do. We take players on one-on-one, use his space, and he did it, Adam, and with that he creates the opportunity and for himself to shoot, and could have scored, Adam. Tough angle, but he did the right thing, and that's positive, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good play from Saints. Well, they've robbed there inside United's own half, and then the boos around. See, they've lost 3 in a row at home, everyone. If you weren't listening to us before the game, United have lost their last 3 home games. Newcastle 2-0, Bournemouth 3-0, and Forest 3-2 before that. So they're under pressure in front of their own fans, despite their success at Arsenal in the FA Cup on Sunday, despite a great point at Anfield in the Premier League. In front of this crowd, who've only had 4 wins from 10 matches, they're not used to that. They're under pressure, and Saints have done their best here to just unsettle United absolutely in the first 13 minutes.
They have, and I hope now Sulemana have seen that either it's Ahmed on the side or Euro. He can take them on now. Now that was his kind of, in my eyes, that was his clue now. I can go past you, and that's what I'm hoping now. He gets hungrier now and thinks I can take you on every time.
That's what you want. That's what I want. That's what we want to see, is him attacking the defenders, using his pace to force them to make decisions. And he's just come in field there and played it across the pitch nicely to Sugawara, almost with an ambling strut to himself. Sulemana, I think you're right. That confidence is there. Get the ball down the channels, let him use his pace. Harwood Bellis goes into him, he tries to flick it around the corner against Yoro. It's the right thing to do. Lenny Yoro holds him off just then, but that's the right thing, Joe. Play it into space behind the defenders, and then at least you've got a foot race.
And movement was good before. He went away to come short, and then on his first side he flicked it in behind and tried to run it past him, but the centre half is always going to be favourite on the inside when you're going to run on the outside of him, but he puts him under pressure. Even though he doesn't win it, he puts the defender on his toes and he pushes him backwards at him, and that's what you got to do as a striker and winger. You're not going to be successful every time.
Bednarek heads it back into the United half, flicked on by Aribo, who gets it with Chukwu, who plays a nice clever ball into Fernandes squares it to Sulemana midway inside the United half. Plenty of red shirts back as he pushes it out to Walker-Peters now, one-on-one with Amad Diallo. Walker-Peters comes in towards the edge of the penalty area, passes it off to Fernandes. I think he apologises almost for going backwards.
Yeah, sloppy pass, that's why he's apologising. It wasn't any problem, but it could have been a better pass.
Yeah, it bobbled to Harwood Bellis. Here's Dibbling. Can he perform on the biggest stage in English football, Old Trafford? 0-0, Solent Sport, quarter of an hour gone, and Southampton have had the better of Manchester United so far in this game. It's whether they can keep their concentration at the back as Aribo goes past 2 players without them being there really. Here's Fernandes driving to the edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area, shoots, and it's straight at Onana, who saves it, and immediately Ivan Juric is applauding his players for their positivity and the way they're driving forward with possession. This time it was Fernandes who got the shot away in the 16th minute, and Onana, it was comfortable for him.
Yeah, 2 shots on target in a couple of minutes here, and Joe Aribo receives the ball, skips past the United player and plays it to Fernandes, who does the right thing, drives forward, gets into the area, has a shot, but not successful on scoring at him, but it's a shot on target.
Certainly giving United plenty to worry about so far. They've just got to make sure they focus at the back as Højlund goes up against Bednarek. Bednarek slides, but Højlund will keep it in on this right hand side, 5 yards from the penalty area. Diallo outside him, he uses as a decoy, goes back to Ugarte. Uruguayan finds Amad Diallo. Now he's driving at Walker-Peters. Little ball back into Garnacho. Little pass to Fernandes, and it's gone behind for a corner because his shot that he tried to place deflected off Harwood Bellis and ballooned out for a corner to Manchester United.
Yeah, dangerous. First time Man United's been up on half of the pitch and gets into the box area and plays a good defending. We're leading Fernandes into the tight area, but he's on 18 yards, Adam. You've got to be careful with letting him shoot there.
Yeah. Diallo will take the ensuing corner from in front of those Saints fans, just to our right. We're about 2/3 of the way down the pitch here, and Diallo is ready. Players bounce up and down. The 6-yard box is crowded with yellow shirts and red shirts. The fans wait. Diallo's taking ages to deliver this. Eventually the Ivorian is ready. Assistant referee says get on with it, and he does. Left-footed right under the crossbar, cleared away by a good header from Saints initially, and then Dibbling doesn't know what to do with it, and in the end just kicks it out of play for a Man United throw and gets organised, which is, for me, probably the right thing to do rather than try and carry it away from him.
I think Dibbling thought about taking Fernandes on because he was kind of one-on-one with him, but when you're going to clear it, just clear it high and wide at least. That's kind of the experience. When you clear it not far enough for me. Small little details.
Yeah, he could have got another 10-15 yards on that if he wasn't going to take
halfway line at least.
I think you're right. I think he was thinking about it, so made the decision at the very last second to poke it out of play. Referee sees something, and he gives a free kick, John Brooks, to Manchester United out on that far touchline.
Yeah, it's on Fernandez, and I think it's Howard Bellis who's a little bit tight on the end there, but Man United got the ball, but the referee decided that was a free kick.
Yeah, it might have been a good shot call, but either way, it's a United free kick, and Sugawara pleading. Actually, it might have been his tackle. There were 2 or 3 there, it could have been. Either way, Fernandez will fancy this to whip this right-footed out from that far side. Ramsdale waits under his crossbar. His Dayglow orange kit, as with the Dayglow orange boots. Fernandez takes it short. He goes to Garnacho. He hits it, pings off ahead. Fernandez is down on the floor, having taken the full brunt of that on his forehead, and it bounces out on this near side for a United throw. But the referee says we'll have a stop in play. That's a head injury, and Mateus Fernandez is out flat on the floor in the box. Thankfully he's sat up quite quickly. It's 0-0, 19th minute. Former Southampton midfielder and Norway international Joe Tessum alongside me, of course. And when we finish the game, and I've gone to get reaction from the tunnel here at Old Trafford, we will record Going Home with Adam and Joe, our BBC Sounds exclusive weekly or match nightly series, and we'll do our latest episode off the back of this game, of course, so you can hear it on your way to work tomorrow, or even there'll be fans here tonight who will look for it on BBC Sounds when they finish the game and have got the long drive home. Hopefully it'll entertain them for half an hour or so when they're on the way back from Old Trafford tonight. You can get that by subscribing on BBC Sounds. As United attack down the left, they've got it with Garnacho, back it comes, and it's gone wide, and it wasn't even saved by Ramsdale. It's been put wide by Garnacho, who probably should have done better. Set up by Højlund down the left. First time Saints have been caught, and it was a sitter for Garnacho, and he's put it 2 yards wide of the post.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit easy. It comes from the halfway line. We're pressing high, Adam, and when you press high, you've got to be tight. First Højlund comes short, lays it off to Fernandez, has a touch and plays it in behind. Højlund shows his pace against Bednarek, who's nowhere near it, and then goes forward, crosses it perfectly, the Garnacho, and should have scored. But I tell you what though, Howard Bellis is in the right area to stick a foot out to block it, and he blocks it in the way that Garnacho plays it on the outside of the pole. So well defended, but that should have been 1-0 to Man United.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen with the other way round. Garnacho passing it to Højlund, maybe it would have been a better result for United, but either way it's a good result for Southampton, as Aribo wins it back in the middle of the park. Did well against Mazraoui. Now it comes across the pitch towards Walker-Peters, but he's got Diallo all over him, and then Howard Bellis gets it on halfway, reacts to the loose ball, hangs it up down this left hand side. Diallo's back now battling and wins a free kick against Walker-Peters, who bundles him over.
Yeah, that's stupid by Walker-Peters, because he could put pressure Ahmed on the pressure there, Diallo as you call him. Yeah, he could have put him on the pressure, not running into him, because he could have just let him have the first touch and then read the situation. Instead he runs into him, and Diallo Ahmed just falls over easily and gets the free kick. The referee has to give it, but could have avoided that. It was good pressure. Yeah, let off.
Because he's facing his own goal. He's deep inside his own half. He can't go anywhere positively with the ball, and Saints could have penned them in a bit. As it is, Onana comes outside of his penalty area, takes a long clearance in his violet kit, all violet, lavender, whatever you want to call it, something like that, and the ball finally brought down from the middle of the park. Now Amad Diallo attacking down the right. He's in the box. Walker-Peters with him. Can't stop the cross. Comes back out to the edge of the D. This time the shot might come in from Garnacho again. He can't get the shot away. Mino is tackled. Looked like a handball for Garnacho. Given. Free kick Southampton on the edge of the D. But United, for the first time in the last 2 or 3 minutes, just finding some space down the sides of Saints on both sides to create problems.
Yeah, the quality Man United have shows when they come into the final third, Adam, with pace, with technique. They come more alive. Diallo Ahmad looks much more comfortable on this side of the pitch and as a wing back defending Adam, and that's where we got to take advantage of him and push him further back on the pitch.
Since beating Manchester City 2-1 on December the 15th, Manchester United are winless in 4 Premier League games under Ruben Amorim, lost 3 of those and drawn 1. Saints, of course, winless in 10 since beating Everton at the start of November. Ball out on the far side near halfway for a Manchester United throw. We are midway through the first half. You're listening to Saints at Old Trafford against Manchester United. It's 0-0, and you're listening on BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Solent. And So far, so good. But with a quarter of the game gone, United just enjoying their best moments. Ivan Juric just throwing a bottle of water on the floor in disgust at something. Now he turns back to his own coaches and gets annoyed. And I wonder what he's seen that's got him so angsty.
Yeah, I'm trying to work it out as well. I'm not sure what it is in a way, but
he'll be spotting something.
It's very animated on the.
He doesn't like the way that throw-in was easy, that's for sure. And then Mainoo's through. Ramsdale out of his goal. Mainoo squared it, but only as far as Saints, who cleared it. United will come again. He's Amad Diallo from 20 yards out. Shoots well wide. Goal kick, and Ivan Juric is flipping his lid down in front of us, because Saints, they were very, very lucky that Harwood Bellis was able to clear that.
Fernandez's pass to Manu is unbelievable. It's just a run he finds, it threads it too, and luckily he tries to play it in the middle, and Harwood Bellis reads the situation. Manu should have had a shot on target instead and trying to pass it, but he probably would have scored as well. Tries to pass it into the middle, but Harwood Bellis picks up the play and does his job and blocks that, and way too easy. We need to be tight then. Fernandez is the troublesome guy, Adam, when we go forward.
Yeah,
Man United goes forward.
Yeah, you can't give him time on the ball. I wish Saints did have him. You can't give him time on the ball, as this time Fernandez tries to turn it around the corner for Dibbling. That'll be easy for Martinez. It's a real battle for Dibbling, that is, tonight, because he's up against a very, very tough operator in Lisandro Martinez, the Argentinian defender. So he's going to have to man up tonight out there if he's going to give Martinez the run around, because he will kick him all night. As the ball goes long from Saints, cross field. That's a good header, cushioned header from Sugawara. Keeps the ball in control for Saints on halfway, and then it's given away by Bree. Tried to play it to Rebo, and Saints are slow to react. And now here comes Garnacho again. He's gone past Harwood Bellis. He's into the box, left of centre, blocked by Bednarek. He gets a second bite. This one's blocked by Harwood Bellis, and then Diallo and Walker-Peters compete to corner to United. Half the ground thinks Walker-Peters handled that. This will be a very soft.
Yeah, that's not a handball. It can't be a handball.
Very soft if he gives it.
It is in the air, and it's a challenge between two players. How can that be a handball? I can't see that. If you give that, then Diallo Ahmed comes together, and the ball lands in the middle, and then lands on the. Yes, it lands on Walker-Peters' arm, but it's a challenge. But again, too easy for Man United up front there to cut through us, Adam. But we're
great
working hard.
Harwood Bellis as well.
Yeah,
to stop
Harwood
Garnacho.
Bellis has to block it. Bednarek has to block it, but.
It's not given. It's checked. It's not given as a handball.
No,
Peters living dangerously.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given that, but it is a clash between two players, and it hits his hand out.
26th minute, corner again for Diallo from this right hand side, left-footed right under the crossbar. Header from Bednarek, he's excellent, got there in front of Ramsdale. Again, it's going to be up to Dibbling to decide how to clear it and get rid of it. He holds on to it deep inside his own half, goes back to Bree, he leathers it back towards halfway, and Mazraoui will collect, but his first touch is sloppy, and Saints might break here. Sulemana in the centre circle, he's over halfway, he's got Fernandez to his left. Walker-Peters is coming up as well, he gets it off the Portuguese. He's got very little support as he gets down there, 3 red shirts coming towards him, but he does well to go back to Harwood Bellis, and after 2 or 3 minutes of United pressure and a couple of great chances for the home side, this is just what Southampton need after 26 minutes, a bit of possession again to get the ball going back the other way. And Sugawara on his outside, his Bree tries to play it back to him, might deflect forwards Dibbling, and just held off by Kobe Mainoo. Garnacho goes back to Fernandez, he shows too much of it to Leslie Ugochukwu, who wins it off him. Aribo then finds Harwood Bellis almost midway inside United's half, plays it out to this left hand side to Walker-Peters, working with Sulemana, wants to give him the return ball, he might get it as it comes off Yoro's knee, and then Sulemana battling over there, doesn't want to give away a free kick here. He's got United pinned out, just make it hard for them, which is what did happen, because back for Ugochukwu, he could have shot then, the away fans wanted it, then the ball bounces out the edge of the box, Saints don't win it, but it's given away by Garnacho, and that's a relief as Bednarek stepped forward and read it. And then Dibbling has completely turned Martinez. He has done him. He's driving into the box. He's in the penalty area. He shoots and Nana saves. Goes back to Fernandez. It's a double save. And then it's cleared away. Unbelievable from Andre Onana to deny Saints the first goal in the game. Dibbling's chance. Then Fernandez on the follow-up. How did he save it twice? I don't know how it's still 0-0.
Fernandez should have scored. What a turn by Dibbling in the middle. Just like he wasn't even there, Adam. Just turn, and that's the Dibbling we need to see. Turn with his left foot on the outside and gets pace through the corners when he runs one, and then he just accelerates with the ball. brilliant play. Gets in this left foot and we come again at him.
And Sugawara's coming down the right. Is in the box on the right. Looks back to check it inside. Dibling's coming. Gets his messes up his shot. But Aribo will shoot. That's blocked by Matthias de Ligt. And it balloons away and out to the penalty area. And Southampton have come back strong at Man United here after almost going a goal behind themselves. What a good start to the game. 28th minute.
I got to continue because Dibling gets into his left foot, shoots, saved by the keeper, but the rebound lands perfectly on the Fernandez's chest. Just has to put it in. Too much power at him. And it's a great save with his left hand.
To get up twice.
Twice and save. But Fernandez should have scored that, and that's the weak part there, Adam.
Juric is crazy. I enjoy watching him on the touchline. The fourth officials come over to tell him off. He's ranting at Ruben Amorim. He's giving it everything. His players are giving it everything. To be fair to Ivan Juric, his players are absolutely. This is some of the best football we've seen from Southampton this season, Joe. Aribo, middle of the park, and the fans can hear it. Can feel it as well, and they're up to our right, as you can hear. Bree turns it back to Ramsdale. What a good game so far. 29th minute.
Yeah, and we should have had a goal. Man United probably should have had one. So 0-0, fair in the terms of the eye of the game.
It's a good 0-0, that's for sure.
Very good 1-0.
Uga Chukwu. Saints have drawn their last two here, by the way, 0-0 and 1-1. As Aribo gets it off Uga Chukwu, who's just growing into the game a bit. Now Walker-Peters down the left, helps it on for Sulemana. Yoro decides to go off his feet and make the challenge. Legally, throw into Saints, almost level with the edge of United's penalty area on this near side.
I think that's when I want Sulemana to be a little bit tougher and stronger at him, because I think he can hold that off and turn him at him, because he rushes into him. But Sulemana is kind of more happy to get the throw in on that situation.
Jim Ratcliffe about almost level with me, about 30 yards to my left, looking anxious. Saints have it over halfway. Here comes Mateus Fernandes again. He's got Yoro in front of him, inside left, looks to his options, pokes it across towards Dibbling. Dibbling will shoot from 20 yards, and he's fired that one high and wide. I don't mind him taking the shot early. It's a good thing to do. It's a goal kick to United.
Ugarte is having a tough time with Joe Aribo. Joe Aribo is really having a good game in midfield against Ugarte, Adam. He's turning him, taking the ball off him, going past him like it's not even there. He's really having a tough time, and Joe Aribo is playing one of his best halves so far this season.
Yeah, there's a couple of occasions where they've been out the game, Uga Chukwu and Aribo. It's gone behind them and they've lost and they can't catch up when United are broken. But in all, Uga Chukwu's done a good job as the more anchor of the two. Aribo's been nice to see him playing with a bit of freedom, Joe, which is when he's best.
I've just seen Fernandez's
chance. It's a great
chance.
save, the second chance.
It shoots it straight on the keeper.
But he's fired it at 1,000,000 miles an hour, to be fair to Fernandez.
He does. He just should have rolled it in. He had time to roll it in instead of
I think he was just stretching away from it, wasn't he, as it came off his chest. I think it took a big bounce, as it were, off his chest. And I think he's stretching and he just puts his foot through it. But it's a heck of a save.
And this is what I said, one of his weaknesses. Got to get his goal scoring the talent up and be better in front of goal, and that's one of the things he has to work on. And this is a clear example, because he should have rolled that ball into the corner and it should have been 1-0.
Yeah, it is 0-0 on Solent Sport. Joe Tessom and myself getting animated because we can see that Saints can compete here at Old Trafford. Just need them to keep their focus at the back. They've got through a couple of scary moments already. They need to button that up a bit, and the threat they've shown has been terrific. And Fernandes now shadowing de Ligt as he goes square to Martinez down that left hand side, chips it up to halfway towards Rasmus Højlund, who fouls Bednar. It wasn't much in that, could have played on really, John Brooks.
Yeah, he's probably correct, but I think if you let the game go there,
no one's complaining. The two players went up, the ball bounced to Harwood Bellis. You can just carry on.
Yeah, and Harwood Bellis is in no problem of doing what he's doing, Adam. So,
well, Saints have possession, and Fernandes is being shouted at by his manager. Turns and looks and almost says, "Well, what do you want?" As Harwood Bellis brings it forward. Big night for him. He'll be looking forward to this at Old Trafford. Stockport-born boy like Kobbie Mainoo, back in Manchester in the Premier League, and big night for him. I'm sure he's got plenty of family here, and he's had a great game so far. Harwood Bellis blocks particularly getting in the way of a couple of shots, and James Bree making up that triumvirate at the back. So Ramsdale puts Harwood Bellis in a bit of a position there, and he does well to get out of it by spotting James Bree, who's free on the right, and Bree will bring it up towards halfway. Sugawara outside him, just over halfway. Back inside him comes Ugachukwu, gives him an option. Leslie Ugachukwu, could he be recalled by Chelsea before the end of the month? He might be. Could he stay? Now he's playing a bigger role in the team. Is he more likely to stay? Hopefully. The numbers, of course, Shea Charles has come back to Saints, but he could get loaned out again, of course, to another club or to Wednesday if they're willing to pay another fee. 33 minutes gone here. It's 0-0 at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Saints having their fair share of the game. Both teams have had great chances. Neither team has scored. United have only scored 23 goals in their 20 games, although that is 11 more than Saints with their paltry 12 from 20 games. But United defensively, 28 against, 9 of those conceded to headers and 9 from corners as Suleimanis turns Yoro. He's absolutely done him, and he's got 20 yards of space, and he's racing into the box. De Ligt with him, he skips past 2, he shoots, he curls it wide. Oh, what a chance. Juric has walked away the other way in disgust. Did he have any other options? Could he have squared it? Should he have got it on target? Probably. It's a great run and it's a massive opportunity.
Oh, he just gets the angle a little bit wrong, but he should have scored. He should have hit the target, and if he has, he would have scored. He does a little dummy, lets the ball pass him and runs past the Euro there and gets one with the De Ligt, who does actually quite well, and Fernandes comes to help him to overlap, and he drives inside. Martinez comes in and maybe makes the angle a little bit too much for him, and he shoots into the left corner of Onana, who can see the ball go inside the post. If he has hit that inside the post, he would have scored at him, and that's brilliant by Suleimane, but the final bit is not there, and that's the difference between being a top player and being a brilliant player.
It's also the difference between seeing what he can do now and wondering why he hasn't done it for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but now he has someone who believes in him, Adam, and that makes everything for a player. If you're playing for someone you know don't believe in you, you got to sink down into your shell, and it's natural for young people. And Ivan Juric is speaking very highly of Suleimane, and that's obviously going to make him feel better, and that's what you got to do to football players. Some players needs that.
35 minutes gone, 0-0. That's the voice of Joe Tesson. Scrapping on halfway, Højlund and Bednarek, who won the header. Mainu gets it to Fernandes, back it goes to midfield to Ugarte, who sends it long over the top for Rasmus Højlund, the 20-year-old Dane. He's lining up James Bree near the left-hand corner of the penalty area, drops it off short to Fernandes. He's going to shoot from distance, straight at Ramsdale, comfortable for the Saints keeper, and if they can keep United to shooting from 25 yards all night, it will probably be a good night's work for Saints, that's for sure. 36 minute, 0-0. United, for me, have had 3 great chances. Garnacho's bad miss from 12 yards out from Højlund's pass, which he put wide thanks to Harwood Bellis putting him off. Mainu's cross and run that Fernandes put him through, and he couldn't find a red shirt when he played it into a fairly open penalty area, as now he's going to get another chance. Garnacho, he feeds Fernandes, edge of the penalty area. Saints should have picked that up. They were hesitant in midfield. They've lost possession. Here's Amad Diallo. Bruno Fernandes midway inside the Saints half, turns inside and goes back to Yoro, and he turns back to Matthias de Ligt. But we're heading towards half time, and now we're in that period where Saints have to get to half time intact to give themselves real belief in the second half. We're into the last 8 minutes of the first half. We're 0-0, and Fernandes back inside his own half. Southampton is doing well here without the ball to make it very hard for United. Diallo has to go back to Yoro, and then the ball turned round the corner cleverly by Manuel Ugarte, and the former PSG man, played forward by Fernandes, comes off the back of a player. United will keep possession though.
Yeah, Bednarek blocked that forward pass from Fernandes, but this is dangerous, Adam.
It is. Here comes Garnacho, who's operating down the right now. Support from Diallo, midway inside the Saints half, looking infield from beneath us on this right. Gets it back off Manuel Ugarte, making his 10th Premier League start. Now Fernandes thinks about shooting from distance, doesn't. Mainu makes a run, then he shoots, then it pings off a couple of bodies, goes up in the air to Sugawara to head half away, then it'll be cleared back in by United. It's going to come right across this near side, and from Martinez's missed cross, it's going to be picked up by Diallo. He's got Walker-Peters going back. He pulls it back to the edge of the box. Saints will try and clear. Suleimane against Yoro. Yoro holding his shirt. Referee gives the free kick eventually. Should be a yellow card. It isn't, but it should be because he was holding his shirt. And John Brooks, because it's at Old Trafford, hasn't given him.
I think Walker-Peters let him go too far in, Adam. It should be quicker out to him, and so he can't run up against Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters kind of needs to go tight and make it more difficult.
Well, he's not stopping the cross either, because he's letting him
cross. He's giving him the cross. He's letting him cross, which is, in my eyes, the total wrong thing, especially when he's almost on the 5-yard box.
Yeah, and on the byline.
We need to stop Fernandes for getting too much space in the areas. I know you said let him shoot from 20 yards. One guy I don't want to let shoot is Fernandes. So you got to be tighter to him. You've got to be blocking that space and avoiding that problem in front of our box.
I guess what I mean is if they reduce the shooting from outside the box, that's not a bad job, but obviously you don't want to watch them do it and not put pressure on, as Rebo just loses out to Diallo on this near side, and he goes backwards to Matthias de Ligt. Ruben Amorim pacing around. Andre Onana has made a fantastic double save to keep the score level. Then Bednarek once more, just too good for Rasmus Højlund, who was waiting for the ball to come to him, and Bednarek stepped in front of him and took control of that.
Yeah, Bednarek very aggressive, very hungry on winning that battle today, which is good to see. And he can do it because there's no one running in behind, so you can take that little gamble it is. Sometimes you got to be aggressive, and you got to win that. If you don't win it, you're in trouble. But I don't think we'll be that much in trouble because no one from United runs forward.
Should be at the peak of his powers, really, Bednarek, 28 years old, as Dibbling clashes with Martinez. It just comes out for Mazraoui. And Bednarek making his 247th league career start as a senior player. Vastly experienced now, that's for sure. And Saints doing well without the ball, Joe, as well, to keep United limited in the way they're operating. They've got through them a few times, but you expect that at Old Trafford. Saints are bottom of the table, but they've actually competed really physically with United and been quick to get into them, which I like. Being aggressive. I think the manager likes the aggression, doesn't he? And that's another misplaced pass, this time from Mazraoui. Brings out the groans around Old Trafford. And this is what we wanted, Joe. United, having lost 3 in a row, needed to be put under pressure in front of their own fans.
Yeah, and we kind of getting out very easily as well. When we play it back to Ramsdale, he just pings it to Bree on the other side, who can chest it down, and no pressure from Man United. Not the old-fashioned Man United in my eyes. Just no pressure. Let him have the ball. Let us roll it on like we're playing at home, Adam, and sit back, which is a sign of a team that doesn't understand the roles and how they are playing at the moment. 5
minutes to half-time, 0-0 at Old Trafford. Mateus Fernandes has come very deep, the 20-year-old Portuguese, playing against his former manager tonight in Ruben Amorim. Not fancied by Amorim. It would be nice for Mateus Fernandes to get the winner tonight.
Well, you should have had one goal though, Adam. What a chance that was. He needs to be better, calmer, cooler head in those situations.
Sulemana on halfway, gets a ball from Walker-Peters, isn't allowed to turn, and they back off him, and he runs in towards Yoro again, comes in field, looks for a crossfield ball, poor clearance from Mazraoui, Dibbling 25 yards out, inside right, plays a small ball to Sulemana. They tried to bait on for Bree's run, didn't get there, they play it into a tight area. Fernandes shows great control to keep the ball, then Ugachukwu and Aribo help it back out to Walker-Peters. Good stuff from Saints as we approach half time. Walker-Peters steps in, back onto his left foot, good ball to Fernandes, got time to line a cross up, does so right footed towards the back post. It comes off de Ligt's head, the goalkeeper stays on his line, de Ligt's clearance is poor, Aribo should have shot then, instead he goes through to Sulemana, and then the poked clearance away from de Ligt. It'll be a Saints throw. I just think probably Aribo should have just pulled the trigger.
Yeah, but he played it brilliantly to Sulemana, but Sulemana wasn't ready to react at him. He could have had a shot, but he picks it, and Sulemana is not there to. He could have turned that into a chance, and he didn't. De Ligt was too quick for him, and Sulemana, if he had turned properly there, he could have turned that into a goal-scoring opportunity. Look at, he's just standing. He picks the ball up and does like a Cruyff turn instead of just turning with the ball with his body. He didn't need to touch it, he just needed to let it run past him, and he would have been one-on-one with the keeper.
Him, but he didn't get his body in the right position to play it. He was still facing the wrong way.
Yeah. So he should have made better out of that.
He should have got it, yeah, and he knows it as well. 42 minutes gone. It's a corner to Saints though, away to our left. On this near side, Fernandes will try and whip it in. Does so to the near post. It's flicked on dangerously, and Onana can't stop it, can he? Saints have scored, and Southampton have the lead at Old Trafford. Finally, a good corner from Mateus Fernandes, whipped into the near post. It was flicked on at that near post by Tyler Dibbling, and it may well have come off a United player and gone in for an own goal. It doesn't matter how you score them, as long as you score them. It's Manchester United 0, Southampton 1 just before half-time, and Old Trafford is stunned.
Ugarte is the unlucky Man United player who the ball hits in, is flicked on from the first ball and hits Ugarte and goes in, Adam. I always said it, good corners can give you easy goals, Adam. And I think we deserved this, Adam. We created loads of opportunity. Like we said, Sulemana was flat-footed and should have turned that into a chance. Instead, we take the opportunity on the corner and we are 1-0 up, Adam. Brilliant corner, by the way, by Fernandes.
And the flick on from Dibbling was perfect. And it came off the back of Ugarte. And Dibbling, the two kids, Dibbling and Fernandes, combining. But the near post flick on from Dibbling was absolutely perfect. He moved from the middle of the 6-yard box, heading towards the ball. No one tracked him, got in front of the defenders and got the crucial flick on. And Southampton have only their 13th goal of the season, and they lead at Manchester United. And the combination of the 20-year-old and the 18-year-old giving them the lead.
And Ugarte.
And Ugarte, who himself, by the way, is only 23, despite having gone for nearly £100 million so far in his career.
Yeah, and let's get through to half time now, Adam. We played almost 44 minutes. Just get through it to half time so we can settle down, Adam.
This is some story as it is at the moment, and they've given it away, United again. Here's Aribo, leaves it for the shot from Dibbling, and Onana saves it and punches it back out in front of him, out of the area. Another chance for Saints. United are struggling here. Yellow card against Dibbling though for diving in against Ugarte. But that was another chance for Saints.
Dibbling did really well. We robbed the ball back, and Joe Aribo was brave, and he's had a really good half, Joe Aribo, I have to say. Drives into the trouble area of Man United. Man United does not know what to do. Dibbling drives in from the right side and lands perfectly for his left foot, and Dibbling shoots, but it hits Onana straight in the middle because he can just save it. More angle on that, a little bit wider. It would have gone in at him because it happened so fast. Onana would not have had time to react to it unless he hits him straight down his face, which it did, and that's why he saves it.
Yeah, unfortunately we
should have been two.
I was going to say, we're on the verge of criticising players for shooting, which I really don't like doing. And I know you're saying he should have scored and Fernandes should have scored everything, but you've got to give Onana a huge amount of credit for the saves he's made as well in the first half. And of course these players aren't, brilliant Premier League strikers yet, so they're just not the finished article. Here comes Diallo trying to level things up for United before half time. Gets the edge of the box, squares it to Mazraoui. Little short pass is good. Fernandes shoots, that's blocked by Uga Chukwu, and Fernandes will keep it in. Just 1 minute of stoppage time, Joe, and United trying to press Saints towards the interval. They've got to keep this out now. Diallo again goes backwards. Ugarte trying to conduct things for Manchester United. Square to Martinez, but they're running their own clock down. Surely United here. We're in stoppage time, 30 seconds to go. They're trying to create just one chance. Here's Garnacho on the right, drives in field, being tracked by Walker-Peters. Back to Ugarte, little ball in towards Mainu, gets it back off Mazraoui. Then a good tackle from Aribo again, Joe. He could be your man of the half. And that's a trip, surely, on Dibbling. John Brooks. How's he not given that by Ugarte? So Diallo can attack down the right in the box still. Brooks giving them every chance, and this time he should book Diallo for diving, and then he's going to be booking Fernandes for asking for the yellow card, and John Brooks has done Saints a disservice twice.
Yeah, he should have done it. Diallo should have been booked for diving as well. But Fernandes should never ask for a card, But that
but he should have been 2 yellow cards.
There should have been 2, and there should have been a free kick for Dibbling as well.
I mean, they're going to have to win this against 12 the way it's going.
Oh, Ahmad is booked as well, Adam. That's good refereeing.
He is good.
It's good refereeing. Give him some credit. We take it back. Good refereeing.
He still should have
been a free kick for Dibbling.
And wouldn't have been in that situation. But it was a bad dive.
Walker-Peters has struggling a little bit with Diallo Ahmad. He needs a little bit. I'd help him or be a little bit tighter or be a little bit braver.
Well, Sulemana's not the best defender, is he, to help him out? But they have the lead, and Sulemana's been a constant threat, giving Lenny Yoro a torrid time down this near side. Dibbling and Fernandes, the front three have worked. They have created trouble after trouble for Manchester United. They survived a couple of scares midway inside the half Saints, but they started well. Sulemana forcing a save, and Fernandez, the double save from Onana, then followed near the half-hour mark. And after that, Sulemana shot wide, but still, Saints have created far more than Manchester United, despite some good opportunities for United, and they deserved the goal they got 2 minutes before half-time, Joe.
Yeah, and I mean, if it sounds like I've been criticising us for shooting, it's not. We can shoot, and Dibbling has done the right thing. Shoot, and you've got to keep going and creating. You'd rather be in that opportunity to shoot. I'm just saying that if he had got a little bit more angle on it, he would have scored. He probably would have scored two. Then one he drove past, and Fernandez had a big chance. He did ever so good in that. Drove in, cut it in, little cut to the left, and then used his left foot to roll it into the corner. Should have been a little bit wider, and it would have been another goal at him. But we are getting closer to the second goal in terms of United getting one.
Saints have had just under 48% possession. Their XG is over 1, which makes a nice change. 1.25. More important, they've had 8 shots, 5 on target, Joe, and they have given United problem after problem. And the belief they must have now going into the dressing room, because they could be saying, lads, we're 1 up, but we could be 2 or 3 up here.
Probably should have been, Adam. And the way they have played, we look like a football team, Adam. We are playing on lip and risk in terms of the back, because we are playing with a high pressure. But when we get up on the pitch and how we press United, we are creating turnovers every time we can press them, and we are organised in terms of our pressure. The times we have to be a little bit more careful is when they play in behind, and when Fernandez is on the ball for them.
Well, it might be unlikely on paper before the game. It might be unlikely historically, but Saints have actually only lost 3 of their last 10, and of course they won here back to back. Their 2 wins since 1988 came into 2015 and 2016. Both those were 1-0, and the score at half time here tonight in 2025 is Manchester United 0, Southampton 1.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Well, you've got to be happy with that. We haven't said this very often, but Saints lead at half-time. And at Manchester United, let's hear from you. 81333 on the text and WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your message with Solent. Tweet us at Solent Sport, because Saints are going into the break 1-0 up.
On this near side, Fernandez will try and whip it in. Does so to the near post. It's flicked on dangerously, and Onana can't stop it, can he? Saints have scored, and Southampton have the lead in Old Trafford. Finally, a good corner from Mateus Fernandez, whipped into the near post. It was flicked on at that near post by Tyler Dibbling, and it may well have come off a United player and gone in for an own goal. It doesn't matter how you score them, as long as you score them. It's Manchester United 0, Southampton 1 just before half time, and Old Trafford is stunned.
We'll go through your messages at half-time. We'll go through all the latest sports news nationally and locally as well. BBC Radio Solent on the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport. Ian Wilding.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Hello, good evening. So 1-0 lead for Southampton. What about that then? Just before half-time, that goal going in, and that own goal on 43 minutes. Elsewhere in the Premier League as well, this was a 7:30 kickoff. It's Ipswich 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Matoma getting a goal on the hour mark. There's still another 25 minutes to go in that game. While in League 1, it's Shrewsbury 1, Wrexham 1. John Marquis, the ex-Portsmouth striker, giving Shrewsbury the lead on 17 minutes. But Stephen Fletcher, veteran now, former Burnley and Wolves striker, scoring 7 minutes later. As I say, 37 years of age. At half-time, it's Shrewsbury 1, Wrexham 1 in League 1. So not a lot of games taking place tonight, as you would expect on a Thursday. This one, Johnny in Tidworth. Hello to you. Amazing what can be achieved with belief and a manager who can adapt his tactics, says Johnny in Tidworth. This one says, a superb first half performance from Saints. This is from Chris in Southbourne. Could be 3 up. Plenty of pace up front with Dibbling, Sulemana and Fernandez. Keep it tight at the back second half. Wonderful stuff, says Chris in Southbourne. A good first half from Saints. Just wish we had a goal scorer, as could have had 3. Would like us to be a bit more solid at the back. Come on, Saints, let's get a win, says Goldie. Great commentary, says Clive from Poole, and so refreshing to hear Saints really take the game to United. Hopefully we can keep it going. Big respect for the travelling Saints fans, and at last Southampton have got something to cheer in that first half in the Premier League, and hopefully building on that win against Swansea in the FA Cup 4 days ago. This one, Paul Shire from Yeovil simply says, I am loving it. Keep those messages coming in if you want to join in the conversation on the text 81333, Solent your first word, WhatsApp 08000 321 333. You can send us a tweet as well at Solent Sport, and Stephen Cross simply says, yes lads, deserved. Loads of messages coming in, and it's nice to see some good positive ones today, because understandably with Southampton, with just those 6 points before tonight, but they have a 1-0 lead at Manchester United, who were 15th going into the game and stay there as things stand. In other sports news today, in League One, as we were saying, Wrexham against Shrewsbury's 1-1, but at the Masters Snooker in London, Sean Murphy is through to the semi-finals after a 6-2 win against Neil Robertson, and there's a 3-way tie at the top of the leaderboard in golf's Dubai Desert Classic. 22-year-old American amateur David Ford is one of 3 players on 7 under par. Rory McIlroy, who's aiming to win the tournament for a 3rd year running, is 5 shots behind. While in cricket, the 3rd one-day international at the Women's Ashes takes place tonight. Australia having a 4-0 lead in the multi-format series. England must win at least 3 of their remaining 4 white ball clashes to retain any hopes of claiming the Ashes as well, ahead of that series-ending test match. Locally, a couple of big stories today, including Portsmouth. They found out today that they've been fined £50,000. Now, this is a story that's been ongoing for about 9 months now, and it's concluded. And they've also had their match day planning criticised after those crowd disturbances after that League One game with Barnsley in April, when they sealed promotion and sealed the title. Pompey winning that match 3-2 thanks to that late goal from defender Connor Shotnessy, but the game was marred by a post-match pitch invasion during which Barnsley player Jamie McCart was struck by a fan, and there's plenty more on that story on the BBC Sport website on the Portsmouth page. Loads of our podcasts available to listen to as well. The latest Cherries Unpicked, that dropped for us today. Steve Cook, the former Bournemouth captain, just search Bournemouth into sounds to listen to that. And let's just hope there's going to be I won't say anything, but we just hope that they're going to have some sort of decent result for Southampton at the end of this game today, and Adam and Joe can drive home from Manchester happy. Going home with Adam and Joe, that will be available for you to listen to later as well on BBC Sounds. And AFC Bournemouth, in some other local sports news, they've agreed terms with Chelsea over a January move for 19-year-old star Zane Silcott-Dubry. The deal for the winger includes a salon clause and future incentives for first team appearances. So far so good for Saints. They lead 1-0 at Manchester United. This one, my nephew Mark Gingle set the alarm for 3 a.m. in Thailand to enjoy the match, so keep it up, Saints. And at the moment, that alarm, it's a good job that you did set that alarm with that 1-0 lead. Steve on the Isle of Wight says a great first half, and let's hope they keep playing as well in the second half, before saying come on you Saints. And a reminder that this match is available tonight, we're pleased to say, as well as all Solent frequencies on your smart speaker and BBC Sounds this evening. The 3rd of 6 commentaries this week, with 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, when Saints are in action again when they go to Nottingham Forest. Now let's bring you some boxing audio now. And this is one that's a local, Ryan Garner, Southampton boxer. He's headlining a full championship card in Bournemouth as he fights Salvador Jimenez for the European title. A media day took place today at Southampton St Mary's Stadium. Our man Dan George was there. He spoke to Ryan Garner. He spoke to 4 or 5 boxers as well who are going to be involved, local boxers that is, on March the 1st. And he's also been speaking to promoter Frank Warren, who says he's very excited about that night in 6 weeks' time.
Well, I'm really excited for the show. I'm excited for Ryan and the fans because, we've sort of been working with quite a few boxers from the area down there, and like with Royston Barney Smith as well as Ryan, and with Lewis Edmondson and the other guys on the cards. And we felt it's a moment now for us to start taking it to another level. So that's what we're doing. So we're launching it with this show. We're going to make sure it's a regular situation. We're going to build it like we've built shows in Manchester and in Liverpool. And we feel it's a real hotbed of boxing down on the South Coast. So, Ryan in there with Salvador Jimenez for the vacant European title. That's a cracker of a fight, and it's a great opportunity for Ryan. And if he comes through, I'm quite confident I can deliver a world title fight for him, and I would love to do it at St Mary's.
Sure. And I mean, for Ryan in his career, this kind of trajectory that he's now kind of come on, he's now headlining in his own show down in Bournemouth. Was there always kind of I guess the sticking point with Ryan and having him headline a show down here? Was the sticking point always the venue? Because Southampton doesn't have that kind of in-between venue. You've got 30,000 St Mary's Stadium and then there's not really much else. So was that kind of difficult in terms of trying to find the perfect place for him?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's being very honest about it. So we've had to pop along the coast a bit, to get the ball rolling. But it's a lovely venue and in Bournemouth. So I'm really, we're grateful that we can, at least we can get a show on down there. But this is the way forward. Obviously, the fact that the matter is there's a stadium there which seats 30,000. We could probably get about another 6 or 7 on the pitch, so we can put on some sort of event down there, some really big event. Providing Ryan and also the other guys are all successful. But there's some fabulous fighters down here. I'm so pleased with how Ryan's turned his life around now and how well he's doing. And as I mentioned earlier, young Royston, I mean, he's something special. He is. He's been with us from day one, and he's going from strength to strength. And I think he's going to be a big, big star too.
In terms of Salvador Jimenez, he's been a European champion before. He's had the opportunity to fight for that. How much of a threat do you see him being? And is this really a 50-50 matchup in terms of, it's going to be really competitive?
It will be competitive, and Ryan's going to have his hands full, but I believe in him. We all believe in him. We think he's a quality fighter, and I said that, he had a few hiccups in his career, but he's got to put all that behind him. He's settled down there. He's really focused on his boxing and living a right life, and that is what you have to do if you want to be a champion. And as much as it's a tough fight, I hope and believe he can come through it. But if you can't beat this guy, he's not going to win a world title anyway. So that's what he's got to go out and show us what it's all about. He's got to capture that EBU title in a couple of governing bodies that'll put him in the top 3 in the rankings, and the rest of it is for us to do outside the ring to deliver him his opportunity. But this is something for him, this is probably the most crucial fight of his career, because for him he's either going to get to achieve his dream or not, or get the opportunity to achieve his dream in getting the world title fight or not. And it all is about whether he can overcome Jimenez.
And what did you learn from the Archie Sharp fight, where you saw him take, an undefeated record off someone that he had something, mid-20s in terms of wins and was undefeated, and Ryan got a huge win. What did you learn from Ryan on that night, and what did that tell you about him?
Well, it was a great win. I mean, I've always been a big believer of Ryan, and as I mentioned earlier, he started off, he had a great run, and then he had a few problems, and he's regrouped now. He's settled down, and he's doing what he's doing. But that fight was a tough fight for him. I think at one stage, Archie was number 1 ranked by 2 organisations, and he had a couple of problems himself. And the fight that he won, the way he went about it was just brilliant. He's an exceptional talent. There's no doubt about that.
And just looking through the rest of the card as well, let's talk about him. Royston Barney-Smith, he's back on this card. He's a very intense guy from the interactions I get with him. For someone so young, I'm almost kind of in awe sometimes of how intense and focused and dialed in he is. How impressed are you with him? And I mean, his last kind of fights, he just continues to keep impressing, doesn't he?
He does, and his dedication is unbelievable. I mean, he trains up, he's not far from my office in Hertfordshire, so he comes here to train. So that's how dedicated he is. He's sacrificing a lot to come up here, and lives up here most of I think it's 6 days of the week. So, that's his commitment. But he knows, and that's what I like about him, his work ethic. That he knows, talent gets you to a certain level, but it's the hard work and the dedication that gets you further. And he's got that champion's mentality to do that. And his last performance, I thought, was superb. He boxed so well, very mature for a young guy.
Frank Warren there, the promoter, talking to Dan George ahead of Southampton boxer Ryan Garner's fight in March. And the players are out for the second half. Manchester United 0, Southampton 1. All Radio Solent frequencies, sounds and smart speaker. Your summariser Joe Tessam, your commentator Adam Blackmore.
Ian, thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody. Anthony has been brought on as a solution to Manchester United's problems at half-time. The 24-year-old Brazilian, just 6 Premier League sub-appearances all season, so this is his 7th, and he cost them £82 million, Joe.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do with the shape of the team with Anthony. You'd expect to go on the right wing.
Yeah, Fernandes is dropped down for Manu in midfield. I'm surprised Ugarte is still on the pitch, actually. I thought he had a dreadful first half, to be honest.
Yeah, but they paid a lot of money for him as well, to PSG.
Is that why they can't take him off?
Yeah, it's a rule. Ramsdale. So let's give you the team, shall we? We're headiness at Old Trafford at the moment, as it's given away by Ugarte, and then Fernandes midway inside the United half gives it to Dibbling. Dibbling just gets the ball caught under his feet, and he's got to be careful if he leaves his foot in late on anyone, because he's been booked at the end of that first half. Ugarte has it again. Mazraoui midway inside his own half. United playing from right to left towards the Stretford end away to our left in this second half. Ugarte sends it long. That's actually a great ball to Fernandes. Now the Saints are backpedaling. Fernandes 25 yards out. Good ball. Little reverse pass, and it's boomed over, but off Harwood Bellis. Another excellent block as Anthony came off that right wing diagonally down the left, and Fernandes fed him, and the shot was blocked and spun over the crossbar for a corner to United. Trying to start the half fast, the home team, trailing Saints by a goal to 0.
Yeah, and Tyler Dibbling, bad touch leads to that attack because we lose the ball in a good position, Adam. And if he had a better touch there, he could have either taken the player on in terms of getting a shot off, but he loses the ball, and that creates that attack. And Fernandes is running from the deep in midfield, and that's the problem.
So corner from the right for United, header away, booming one from Leslie Ugochukwu, who comes out only as far as Garnacho. Out it goes to Diallo, another cross, left-footed. This one comes off the head of Sugawara. And United are back near the centre circle, but they have Bruno Fernandes on the ball, their talisman. Then Anthony drops it off out on that right wing to Amad Diallo again, faced by Kyle Walker-Peters. And then the cross is going to come in early. Harwood Bellis heads it, but United first to the second ball here early in the second half. 3 times there the ball's come out, and 3 times it's been a red shirt that's picked it up. Saints under pressure, they can't clear their lines. Into Garnacho, they stand off him. Bree comes chasing across to try and stop Delit. He shoots, blocked by Bednarik. That balloon's out of the box, and again it's the United head that wins the ball in Martinez over Fernandes, and thankfully United have put it out of play. But Southampton have got to start winning some second balls there. When those crosses are coming in and coming back out, they just can't let them keep coming back and back and back.
No, but luckily it's landed to the players, which I don't mind. De Ligt gets it in a dangerous position, and Euro gets it in a dangerous position, and they don't know what to do with it. That's when you get defenders in the wrong area, but you never know, they can score wonder goals with a lucky shot, but it's fallen to the wrong players and the right players for us, but you are right, we've got to be tight there, Adam, being tighter to where we are in dangerous areas. Can't give away space.
Well, they've given away the ball straight from their own throw-in, straight into the head of Nusir Mazraoui. De Ligt, 10 yards inside his own half, squares it across away from us, from left to right, through Yoro, out to Diallo, and his ball in wasn't held by Hoyland, who couldn't keep it, but Fernandes has rescued it again, and then it's given away. Diallo showed too much of it to Kyle Walker-Peters. He wins it and goes back inside to Harwood Bellis, playing on the left of the back three, remember, last couple of games. Total change of position for him, and Aribo does well to find Sulemana. Back it goes to Walker-Peters, and then why didn't he play on? United were moaning, and Walker-Peters put his arms out as if to say, what are you moaning for, when he had the ball.
Just keep playing till the whistle goes. That's what you learn when you are a child. Play to the end of the...
Now that's a long ball over the top from Bednari. It could be a beauty. I think Sulemana's onside. He is. He gets it. He shrugs off the challenge from Martinez, who went across with him. He still got it down the left. Walker-Peters on his inside, looks to cross, blocked, corner Saints.
And what's good with that is Sulemana runs in behind, not offside. Strong wins that against Diallo Ahmad. plays it to forward running Walker Peters, who tries to cross in the right of there. The good news is we got 2 players in the box, Adam. And that's the brilliant. You're dribbling, and I can see Sugawara is filling up from his right wing back position, and brilliant. If that ball has gone in, that would have been an opportunity.
I feel like saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Saints with the corner away to my right on that far side. Again Fernandes from that left hand side, whipping it in right footed. Dibbling gets to get a flick again. United struggle. They have given away 10 goals from corners now, including Saints. Saints know that's a weakness, and then they can't keep the ball to clear their lines. Garnacho arms out, looking upset, and Ruben Amorim comes out to the edge of his technical area, having been sat down. But Southampton playing through Garnacho again. Here's James Bree looking inside him, driving down the right. Got Sugawara on his outside. Mazraoui holds him off, and the Moroccan plays a little square ball to Bruno Fernandes, who chips it down this left wing up to halfway. Bednarek just too good for Højlund, and then Mazraoui though robs Bree. Ugachukwu, not the strongest tackle he could have made, but he got away with it, and Saints keep playing. Fernandes gets a 1-2 with Dibbling, back inside to Aribo, no room to work in, but Southampton keeping the ball, finding some space, leading 1-0 past the 5-minute mark of the second half, and Ugachukwu going backwards needs to make the right call with the ball here. It's quite brave in the end. And then Bednarek to Dibbling, back to Ugachukwu. Leslie plays a good ball through Aribo. That's a better pass out to Walker Peters, caught as he played it. Ball over the top. Sulemana's in now from Walker Peters. He's definitely onside, up against Lenny Yoro. Sulemana goes inside, he's beaten him, he shoots, it hits a hand, referee gives nothing. Oh, and it's out, and really Sulemana probably should have done better anyway. He shouldn't have been hitting a player. He got beat the first man. He's got to drill that shot and make Onana make a save, and Juric is going furious. He hasn't got the handball. RVAR looking at it, that's the question. We couldn't really see from our angle.
No, De Ligt, his arm, he goes to tackle, the arm is up in the end, stops the ball from going towards the goal, Adam.
We might get a look at it, we might not. Here's Sulemana again. A good ball this time from Walker Peters. He's got Aribo through onside, and then it's cleared away by Martinez inside, Dibbling from Aribo's pass. United at 6s and 7s at the back, and Saints absolutely embarrassing them at times, the way they're cutting through them so easily. Amorim's high line with his defence, he's not working for United, and Saints with their pace are taking advantage of it as Dibbling gets a little 1-2 with Leslie Ugachukwu. Ugachukwu still going into the box. He's surely tripped up by someone, but at least John Brooks spotted one foul. They're going to have a free kick, Saints. That's going to be a yellow card, and this free kick would be what I would call prime James Ward-Prowse territory. Unfortunately, he's not here to take
good it. Ugachukwu plays it up to good defending by Howard, but he plays it into Ugachukwu, plays it to kind of a strike in Tyler Dibbling, lays it perfectly off. Ugachukwu just drive into the area where Tyler Dibbling has come from, and just keeps going, being brave, and has to be tackled there, Adam, and it's a clear free kick, but still, was that a penalty on that shot, Adam?
Well, we're going to get another look now, everybody at home. Sulemana, no, it hits his back.
Hits his back.
It's never a penalty.
It looked like it hit his hand, but good run by Sulemana into the back, Adam. Credit to Sulemana though.
Yeah, cutting in, taking his man on.
Little movement, comes short to go long. We spot him, he gets the ball. He has not the best of first touches, Adam, and then cuts through the defender, gets 1-on-1, goes past him and shoots at him. That could have gone in if De Ligt hasn't blocked it. I think Onana wouldn't have been on that, but we will never find out.
So Xerxes coming on, and also coming on is young Toby Collier, midfielder. So the question is, who's come off?
Ugate's come off, and the Højlund has come off, Adam.
Yeah, you said Ugarte.
Yeah, he hasn't been good. I don't know if he took off Manu. Why did he take off Ugarte? Ugarte first half was so horrendous in my eyes. Yeah. It was embarrassing to watch him, and Joe Reba was good though, but it was absolutely shocking for me.
54th minute, Saints lead at Old Trafford in the Premier League. It would be the shock of the season if they were to pull this off. Here comes Fernandes, 20 yards with the free kick. It hits Xerxes, who's just come on, I think. Booms off his head and goes out for a corner to Southampton. I was just thinking Ruben Amorim would be thinking it's not going to be his night if his former Sporting player, who he let go out on loan last season, comes back to haunt him at his Old Trafford job. And Fernandes doing his best.
Yeah, we need a free kick taken down. We had with someone who can convert these free kicks. Some of them, one of the.
We always talk about missing Ingsy's goals and never replacing them. They never replayed Ward-Prowse's set pieces either. But here comes one from Fernandes again. De Ligt heads it away this time at the near post. Good clearance from the Dutchman. Fernandes has it back though out there. It came out to him. He beats his one man. Comes back on the other side. He's beating on Fernandes, his compatriot, and he crosses in from the left-hand side once more. De Ligt again, a one-man defence there for United, heading it away. They still haven't cleared their lines, and then Bree shuts down the clearance from Mazraoui at the expense of a Manchester United goal kick. But how nice for Mateus Fernandes to take on Bruno Fernandes, leave him for dead, get that crossing, and De Ligt is keeping United going on his own at the back.
And we are being very positive after that crossway goes into no man's land and United wins it. But what do? We put them under pressure instead of giving them an easy time and get out. Brilliant play, James Bree going forward, putting pressure on. Yeah. Brilliant.
Just one Premier League senior appearance for Toby Collier as a substitute, and he finds himself on in midfield for Manchester United. I don't know why Sugawara didn't leave that to go out from Fernandes. It was just a ball that was never going to find Mazraoui. Anyway, he blocked it. It's United in possession deep in their own half, and they go back to Andre Onana, who's their man of the match by a mile with his saves to keep Saints down to 1-up by half time. 56th minute. So the only appearance Toby Collier made, by the way, in the Premier League was that 3-0 home defeat to Liverpool here. And they're losing now, but Mazraoui's got room and space to run, and he heads it down the left-hand wing for Garnacho. Garnacho facing up James Bree. Edge of the box on the left, chips it to the back post. It goes over everybody. And good work from the Saints defence. And Walker-Peters tracked Amad Diallo's run all the way in and pushed him off the ball to keep him from getting that. It's a goal kick to Southampton. We were traipsing up here thinking, let's hope this isn't a terrible night, let's hope they can keep it down, let's hope...
Let's talk it up.
No, we even had fans saying before the game, be happy to lose 2-1. At the moment, they're playing brilliantly.
They're playing brilliantly, and it doesn't matter. We're seeing something that we are developing as a football team. We are now looking like a football team. We haven't looked like this the whole season, Adam. Whatever result is going to come out of this, we are looking like a football team, which is what I want to see.
A competitive Premier League football team.
And we are at least competitive against Man United at Old Trafford.
With a game plan. And effective in the final third.
And look at the players, how much more comfortable they are in the positions they are playing.
Ball chipped forward by Harwood Bellis, isn't going to reach Sulemana, who doesn't want to tire too much. He needs to keep working on that far side on the Saints left. Good work from Diallo. Here's Toby Collier. Youngster gets it back off his captain Bruno Fernandes and goes back to Matthias de Ligt. Lots of former Bayern players and Ajax players, of course, in this team. United, lots of Dutchmen from the Ten Hag days, and there's one of them, Xerxes, turning Bednarek, but then there's the cover from Bree, who suddenly sprinted like we didn't know he could to get back. Brilliant work from James Bree, and that's confidence as well. And then Harwood Bellis up to Sulemana, who's allowed to turn because Yoro didn't go tight to him, and Sulemana's going to skin him down the left wing, and he's driving into the box, and he's done the teenager. If he can put it back, he can't. He puts it wide. He could have found Dibbling, he could have found Fernandes to tap it in, and he shot, and it probably wasn't the right option. Brilliant run. He's absolutely done Lenny Yoro, and then he's got to probably find Dibbling or Fernandes, but of course he went for it. I don't blame him in some regards, but he's missed.
He's so close from scoring at him. Brilliant run. Leave Euro like it's not even there, and this is the Sulemana we've been asking for, Adam.
The one you're saying exists. If Garnacho gets it one-on-one with Bree in the box, this is a worry.
He's offside now. He was offside.
I wish they'd put the flag up.
Yeah, but what a good turn by Sulemana, and so close from scoring. Could he have chosen differently? I think he did the right thing, Adam. Just go and score, make him into a goal scorer, and I think good players, top class players that he can be if he wants it.
I'll still argue with you that the right thing is to score the goal, and probably if he squares it to Dibbling, who got in front of the defender, he taps it in.
Yeah, and I agree. Always play.
I know what you're saying. You want to see him confident.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. But you are right. Play it to someone in a better position. If it's a tap in, use the tap in instead of scoring yourself.
Yeah, it was just that final ball. He's had chances tonight, Sulemana. Real chances. And there's Fernandes. He's lost it, overran it. Robbed by Xerxes. Here comes Bruno Fernandes. He's found Garnacho. He's got Bree backpedaling again. Narrow angle on the left. Pulls it back to the back post. And it should have been 1-1. And instead, it's been slid back to Aaron Ramsdale like a back pass. And that's an absolute let-off, and Anthony's nightmare of a time at Manchester United continues. He's got on the back post from Garnacho's ball across the 6-yard area, and he slid it into Ramsdale's arms.
Oh, phew. And then we lost the ball, and see how quickly it turns for us as well, Adam. From being in one end and maybe finishing the game off, we almost put ourselves in trouble. Lippin lucky. It should have been a goal, Adam.
Yeah.
It should have been a goal, and what a cross. And Anthony, what he is doing, I don't know. It's a cross shot from Garnacho.
He's got to stay on his feet and tap it in. Why did he go down on his?
He's got an open goal, Adam. He could just put it into the open goal and stand on his feet. You're right.
I don't think he needed to slide. I think he could have just touched it in.
We were a bit lucky there.
Very lucky. And you think about in the first half when Garnacho had that bad miss from 12 yards out when Harwood Bellis stood in front of him, and then you think about the cross and run from Mainu where he pulled it back into an open area and there was no red shirt there. 3 gaping chances for Manchester United, haven't taken them. Saints still lead on the home of live sport across the south. Here's Joe Rebo driving towards the penalty area. He's got Dibbling in the box on the right. Mazraoui tried to just nibble at him from behind. It was dangerous, and United clear it and suddenly get lucky because Xerxes picks it up, and now he's got Garnacho on this left wing midway inside the Saints half. The game opening up like it's the last 5 minutes. Fernandes, they want a shot, he doesn't. His pass is blocked, then the tackle from Bednarek. Referee says play on. No one's getting a free kick. Ahmad Diallo squares it. Still pressure from United. Garnacho in the D. Garnacho shoots and Ramsdale saves. Good shot from Garnacho. Solid shot. Good save. Got his body behind it. No danger. Hour gone. The game heating up. It's Man United 0, Saints 1.
Yeah, and Tyler Dibbling in the other end is injured. He got into the middle and is hobbling back at him. Something is wrong and he's sitting down at him. The referee needs to see him.
Well, let's have a look. It's not a head injury, is it? But
no, he
bowled it out so they can get treatment.
Drove into the middle and got tackled on this angle. I think he rolled his ankle and lipped at him.
Yeah,
but the game is back and forward here. We need to watch out a little bit. I think Okachukwu, when Joe Reba goes forward, he needs to cover that area in front of Howard Bellis and Bednarek. There's too much space for Xerxes to come into and get the ball and turn. He needs to drop into that middle and cover that area a little bit more. And Bednarek, experienced as he is, you just hold on, Okachukwu, in the middle, block it, make sure he doesn't get the ball there.
I'm with you. It went from United's penalty area up to Xerxes. No one getting tight to him. They've got tight all first half. That's the thing. Just got to keep the concentration going and snap at the heels all the time. And you're right, it was Okachukwu, but I was quite surprised to see that Bednarek hadn't gone with Xerxes like he had in the first half with Højlund everywhere.
Yeah, why did he stand back? The problem and the difference is, Adam, I'm going to tell you that, because Anthony and Garnacho is higher on the pitch, and that means he can't go. First off, they were lower, and that it means there's no threat behind. But now there is a threat behind, and that means that Bednarek can't take that gamble. If he can't win it, he has to stay.
Well, in the 63rd minute here, we've got a first substitution for Saints. Dibbling is going off, and Will Smallbone, having come on the pitch and been out of the picture since coming on the pitch against Swansea with injury since October. He's a player Ivan Juric said he likes him as an intelligent footballer, can be an important player, he said last week when talking about him coming back. And let's hope Will Smallbone has a good game. Dibbling has to go off. He is injured slightly. How badly I don't know, but he looks like he's at risk of missing the Forest game the way he's hobbling off at the moment. Might be a whack. He might be okay. Either way, Saints have got to change things a little bit. Immediately, Smallbone gets on the ball, plays it forward. He'll be absolutely buzzing. Imagine making your comeback after 4 months in the Premier League or 3 months at Old Trafford.
Yeah, the problem is we lost the player with pace, and we got a player on that hasn't got that pace, Adam, and that is a little bit different. We only have one threat in terms of pace, and that's Sulemana now, and that's a bit of a worrying sign. But is it a tactical change in terms of being more defensive or a little bit smart in midfield? Maybe. Depends on where we put Fernandes and Smallbone.
I think Fernandes, I think they're almost going one up front. Fernandes now playing with Smallbone like a 2-1, like a 3-4-2-1, like we originally thought that he liked playing anyway, Juric. So it's more of a natural 3-4-2-1 as Bree needs to deal with the ball, and he hasn't cleared it, and it should be played back by Xerxes to his colleague. It is, and he's still going. Xerxes, Saints get a toe in. He's still got the ball on the right of the penalty area. shoots again, blocked, and then played away to the far side by Ugachukwu, and that's a really good play from Leslie Ugachukwu. And then Aribo finds Smallbone, but Sulemana had come to the ball with Smallbone. Smallbone thought he'd gone the other way, and he tried to play it down the line, but played it to no one.
Yeah, maybe Sulemana could have then seen the situation and made a run instead of
that's what he
standing.
was hoping, Smallbone.
Yeah, but Smallbone shouldn't have given the ball when he's not running, though. He should keep it, because there was no pressure on him.
Ball now on the right with Amad Diallo. Again, he's going one-on-one with Walker Peters. Again, Walker Peters holds off him, and this time he has to check backwards. Back it goes to Toby Collier. Leaves it the youngster on the right. Now Amarin wanting United to switch it to this near side and keep the ball wide. Martinez out to Mazrui. Sugawara facing him. Mazrui slides it down this near wing. Cleared by Bree, who then sends a clearance back up towards Martinez, and he leaves it for Matthias de Ligt. De Ligt to Lenny Yoro. The 19-year-old Frenchman sends it out to Amad Diallo. And then back it goes. Ruben Amarin trying to make things happen on the touchline. And Ivan Juric is hardly ever in his technical area. He's almost on the pitch all the time. Here on this left wing, midway inside the Saints half, is Garnacho. Tackled once, blocked, tackled, ball out. Saints throw midway inside their own half. Good work from Sugawara and Fernandez. We have had 65 minutes of this game. It is Manchester United 0, Southampton 1. The goal in the first half, Saints scoring through an Ugarte own goal thanks to a great corner from Fernandez and a great flick on from Dibbling. But Saints well worth their lead as we head towards the final quarter of this game on BBC Radio Solent. And Saints taking ages to take the throw in. Smallbone eventually comes to try and help Sugawara out, and he wins a free kick for a kick by Fernandez in the back of him, and that'll do Saints nicely, Joe. The question is, how brave can they keep being as the clock ticks and they feel the reality of the situation they're in? They've got to stay brave somehow. It's not easy.
And how much energy they use first half to be that dominant as well in terms of attacking football. The problem is we got to keep staying tight, Adam.
That's great play from Fernandez and Sugawara and Smallbone operating as a three. How can Sugawara not get a free kick? And then Ugachukwu takes it off Bruno Fernandes. Early ball from Fernandes won't find Sulemana, but the nod off Diallo's head allows Sulemana to collect it on that left wing. He had a simple ball there to Walker Peters, ignored it, played a bad ball to him, and then it goes out for a Saints throw, level with the edge of United's penalty. But seriously, Sugawara was fouled.
Yeah, should have been a free kick. But what I was just about to say, we are standing back a little bit, not much, Adam, but just a yard more than we did first time. We've got to be as brave. If you're going to play that style, you've got to continue being brave. Yes, United is a little bit quicker, but we got to be brave enough to stand up and not give them that extra yards, which we are kind of giving them at the moment, and we kind of getting away with it, but a little bit worrying signs.
Good ball from Ugachukwu, and Smallbone's passed the ball really well since he's come on. That was crisp out to Fernandez as well. Midway inside United's half, looking for runners. He had a run from Smallbone, he ignored it, but he's found Sugawara, who then falls over in the box. What is all that about? His control was poor, and then it got away from him. By the way, Brighton have won the earlier kick-off tonight, 2-0 at Ipswich. Mitoma and Ruta with the goals in the second half. It's 2-0 to Brighton there, so Ipswich lose at home. Saints go there at the start of February. And here it is Manchester United 0, Southampton 1.
Good ball,
67 and a half minutes. We are 3/4 of the way through this game on the home of live sport across the south. And Southampton still lead, and United haven't scored. And now, how brave can they be in the closing stages?
And it was good play by Fernandez into Sugawara, made a good run, but why didn't he just keep going, be more aggressive? His first touch was, he doubted himself instead of just drive into the goal area. Perfect ball in between the centre half, the Ligt and the Martinez on their side, and Sugawara made a perfect one, but the touch let him down.
Looking at the Saints bench, where'd you go if you've got to make changes? Ugachukwu and Aribo have been excellent. I'm not taking them off unless one of them's so tired they can't play. Lallana maybe in the middle of the park. Has been off it a bit so far since he's come on in recent games.
We might need a bit more threat in terms of space.
Maybe.
Archer, I think Archer should have been coming on instead of Smallbone in my eyes.
Well, he might just be playing Smallbone deeper, that's why.
Yeah, that might be the...
Ugachukwu and Aribo. As Amad Diallo continues his battle with Carl Walker-Peters down the right. Support behind him from Collier. United again, though, as Saints get back behind the ball. They've pushed United back repeatedly. Squeezed them out, stopped them getting in the box. I like the way they defended the penalty area under Ivan Juric tonight. as Diallo comes attacking again off that right hand side, looks for a 1-2 with Xerxes, clever little back heel from the Dutchman, but luckily Walker-Peters kept going toe to toe with Diallo and got the clearance and didn't let Diallo collect that ball, as it's thrown quickly by Lisandro Martinez to Toby Collier.
Yeah, Xerxes causing Bednarek a lot more troubles than Hoyland, and Bednarek, you can see, is struggling a little bit because he's a bit tall, a bit stronger in there, more robust in terms of tackles. And the first touch is better, and they're playing a little bit high on the pitch as well, which helps the striker, not Hoyland in the first half.
Yeah, he was on his own a lot, wasn't he, with no one around him for quite long spells, which is good for Saints. As Collier plays it out to Diallo again, he's going to have a drive at Walker-Peters towards the Stretford end on our left. Amad Diallo drops a shoulder, eventually meets Sulemana, who tackles him, still keeps the ball though. Southampton quite happy to let him usher it back inside and out again, and United once more going from right back over to this left hand side, still showing patience despite them being a goal down to Saints. Garnacho into Martinez. And look at the Saints bench and you think, Onuachu of course could come on, Archer could come on, both of them could come on.
I think we need to make a Lippis change in midfield. I think we need a little bit more muscles or energy.
Well, I think Flynn Downs and Adam Armstrong are the two that are coming on as United get it. Xerxes with the back heel towards Bruno Fernandes, well read by Leslie Ugochukwu. Collier down the right, that's a great pass from the youngster. Cross from Diallo isn't great, and it goes out for a Saints goal kick, and that's absolutely perfect. And now Ivan Juric is urging them to hurry up and get ready to come on. So it looks to me like we're going to see Downs, as I look below me, make his return since coming off after an hour against West Ham on Boxing Day, and Adam Armstrong, so you're going to get a bit more speed up front.
I think that's what we need, a little bit more pace, so we have a threat, because that pushes Man United a little bit further back. Now we only got Sulemana, who hasn't done much lately, but it might be that Sulemana comes off because he's getting tired.
Armstrong down the left would work, wouldn't it? And obviously Downs might be coming on for a Rebo or Ugochukwu. Ugochukwu has looked a bit tired to me in the last 10. That's a good ball for Garnacho. Is he offside? Saints think he is. Play on, says the linesman. Garnacho's into the box on the left, goes on the outside, pulls it back. Bednarek half clears. Shaw, what a block from Harwood Bellis. Diallo can't believe it. He's run onto it 14 yards out, smashed it first time, and Harwood Bellis has flung himself as Sulemana again gives Yoro the run around again. He's gone round him once more, checks again, don't keep going round him, drive into the goal please, Camaldine.
That was good hold up play, Adam. It was brilliant.
Fernandes has shown too much of it, way too much of it to United, and Garnacho got it and then stretching United give it away, and Mateus Fernandes has it again. He might get a reprieve here, pushes it out to Sulemana on his left, 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Here's a Rebo, goes back inside to Carl Walker-Peters. He chips it out to that left wing once more to Kamaldeen Sulemana, and the 23-year-old plays it infield as Saints try and keep some control on the game. It's been helter-skelter in the second half. Harwood Bellis as well, that's a free kick. Referee gives it, doesn't play the advantage. But Sulemana, I just did him a disservice, said 22. It's his 23rd birthday next month, actually. He's 22, not 23, as I said. Downs and Armstrong waiting. The key will be for me, Joe, can they pick the pace of the game up straight away? Because it's been a really high-tempo game, and they're going to have to be switched on very, very quickly.
Yeah, Fernandes is coming off. It's been brilliant, Adam, today. And he's
Downs
Flynn Downs is coming off for and Joe Rebo. I think that's the right change, by the way, and that can put the small one into midfield more like the holding role instead of the forward playing one, and put Adam Armstrong with the pace. So there's a threat there.
Surely he'll keep Smallbone will play in the Fernandes position. Armstrong might go up front alongside Sulemana, I'd have thought, and then you've got Downs coming on like for like with a Rebo.
Yeah, Fernandes and Joe Rebo had fantastic game there so far, and hopefully it will pay off their hard work and for the last 20 minutes, is it?
Yeah, a bit less we're hoping. I'm watching the 18, clock, it's going way too slow. 17 minutes. And plus stoppage time. Of course it's Old Trafford, so there might be 10 minutes of that, but it should be about 3. Saints have a free kick in the United half, drifted towards this near side, the Saints right, as they attack. Bednarek got a header down but couldn't find a yellow shirt, then he bundles over Toby Collier. He's slow to get up, the ball's kicked away subtly by Sugawara, and Collier's up, and now Bednarek's making sure United can't get on with it, because he's stayed down, and he doesn't usually stay down unless there's a problem.
I think it's been clever, Adam. I don't think he's injured at all. I just think it's been clever.
Well, he's had a torrid time at Old Trafford in the past. He was part of that 9-0, of course, here, where he got sent off and scored an own goal in that game. It'd be nice for him to have a good night at Old Trafford. 74 minutes nearly gone. Solent Sport in the Premier League and on BBC Sounds, on your smart speakers and on the BBC Sounds app. It's Manchester United 0, Southampton 1 with 16 minutes of normal time to go. And the bottom club in the Premier League, rock bottom club in the Premier League, are giving the multi-champions of the Premier League a heck of a run tonight, and they deservedly lead as Sulemana closes down
Sulemana, he's brilliant today, I have to say. Sorry, he's going to have nightmares tonight, Adam. He's taken the ball off him like nothing. This is a different Sulemana.
I'm waiting for Ivan Juric just to sort of chest pump Ruben Amorim or just clout him or something. He keeps going right up to him and like 1 foot away, and I'm waiting for him to explode. He's managing to just about hold it in. Sulemana gives Yoro a hard time once more. I'm surprised they haven't tried bringing Harry Maguire on, because Yoro's had a terrible time. But then again, I suppose if you put De Ligt out to the right with his pace, he probably hasn't got as much as the 19-year-old Yoro. So maybe that's the best option United have, as it's a good block from tackle from Harwood Bellis, and the ball play forward. Again, Sulemana holds off one player. Collier goes across to join in to keep him at bay. It doesn't work. Ugachukwu under pressure. Just about gets it back to Bednarek. That was close. Here's Armstrong. Can he make his first touch count? He can. He squares it to Harwood Bellis, who's racing over halfway. In fact, it's not Harwood Bellis, it's Flynn Downs with his first touch, and he wins a throw on that far side. Saints playing from left to right towards this east stand. Away to our right.
Give Ivan Juric some credit as well.
Massive.
Because he realised he's taken off a quick player and he needed another one. So that's why Adam Armstrong has come on.
Now, here's Smallbone. Was he fouled? The referee says no by Collier. He looked to buy it. Yeah, he looked to get it. Didn't get it. United have it. The groans ring out around Old Trafford because they're still midway inside their own half, and the clock is ticking against Manchester United here. Haven't lost 4 in a row in the top flight at home since 1930. That's 95 years. Saints desperate for something. Starting the
we need 3 points. It was so good with 3 points, Adam.
Oh, massive. 10 points off safety at the start of midweek. And as we look at it now, with Ipswich having lost tonight, they're still 10 points from safety. Goal difference is so bad, call it 11, but at the moment to be 7 points off having been so bad would be a miracle with 17 games to go.
Yeah, but just let's concentrate about getting 3 points, because it would look so much different, feel so much different.
That's what I'm saying. They would look to be 7 points off with a win, and after the season they've had, to only be 7 points from safety would be a minor miracle.
Anything will be a miracle, that's how we have started, Adam.
Started and middled to finish well. 77.
Oh, it's been shocking, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, but this is quite
a lift. This is fantastic for me.
Whatever happens tonight now, we have seen a completely different Southampton. You're so right, Joe. This is the first time we've seen Saints play like a Premier League side almost this season.
Yeah, and we haven't sat back and defended. We are actually in their half pressing, Adam.
Absolutely, and they've given it away again. United under that pressure from Harwood Bellis. Brilliantly read that, by the way, coming off that left-hand side of 3, and now he's making a run midway inside United's half. He's got the ball. Harwood Bellis plays a little trick pass to Sugawara.
Sugawara, you've got to be stronger.
Too easy against Martinez. He's just too physical. Now Bednarek's decided to drop off Xerxes. I thought he might have engaged him. He's letting him run into the box until Bree gets back to help. They can't stop it going. Well, I thought it went out for a corner. Linesman and referee don't agree, so play on, but it's still a worry for Saints because Garnacho has it. He fires it straight at Ramsdale. That looked out from here. Yeah. It's not given, and Saints had the ball in Ramsdale's arms, and it's still 1-0 to Southampton.
But what a good run back from James Bree. He decided to run back in. First, it looked like I'm just going to stay with Garnacho on the side and cover him and let Bednarek be 1-on-1. Then he decided, I'm going to go back and help him. Cut into the pathway of where he was running and picked up the ball. Went off for corner. We could see it from here, Adam.
Should Bednarek have engaged Xerxes instead of backing off when he first got it?
1-on-1, he has to back off like he did, Adam. It's the correct thing.
Here's Armstrong battling. He's got past 2 challenges. They were hardly there. Armstrong, edge of the box, tried to shoot. It's Martinez again who blocks. And Flynn Downs, he's going to get a yellow card there. He's hauled down Anthony. Easiest yellow of the night. We could have given that from about half a mile away.
Yeah, we could have given him a corner, so we could give the yellow. But again, difference with having Adam Armstrong turns, runs against the United defence, shoots. gets blocked and it turns into another attack for United. So we got to be picking it up and be a little bit careful. Flynn Downs maybe a little bit high there, Adam.
Yeah, Flynn Downs needs to be careful as well. He needs to get back in the game as Xerxes plays a great 1-2. This could be trouble. Out comes Ramsdale. Header might put it in. Bree clears. Sugawara clears. Southampton survive. United attacking down the right. Got a header in towards goal. Ramsdale made the first save. And Xerxes played a nice 1-2. And then it's brilliantly saved by Ramsdale, but it stayed in, and somehow between Ramsdale, Bree and Sugawara.
Yeah, it's Fernandes that comes down the side, tried to score, and then Ramsdale saves it, goes in there, he heads it in front of goal. Just Southampton players, James Speed clears it, but that is dangerous. And what the problem is, and the problem is Xerxes that is causing Bednarik all the trouble. I think we need to pull a midfield player a little bit closer to Bednarik so he can get a little bit help in front of Bednarik, because Xerxes is the one that links up everything now, and that's when Juric needs to be kind of clear, and he needs to stop that from happening, because he's the one that links up Fernandes from running in behind. Play the ball into him, he holds it, rolls it into the area so Fernandes can go through, but Man United don't fill in with more people, and that's why they don't score.
Fernandes takes the free kick short for United, goes across the pitch, could be dangerous though. Diallo chips it up towards the back post. Ramsdale stays on his line, and in the end him and Sugawara get it right. I was just having this nightmare image of a Sugawara Ramsdale disaster there as they waited for each other, and Garnacho was going to slip in between them, but they judged it well. We're into the last 10 minutes as United look to bring on Christian Eriksen and Harry Maguire in the final 10 minutes.
And we are bringing on Nathan Wood and Tall Paul, I think it is, if I can see from where I am. Yeah, we are.
Wood,
Nathan
and
Wood,
Onuachu coming on for Saints. This is what you do when you need to keep the lead. You're going to need the big man up there to get you out of trouble, hold the ball up. Leslie Ogachukwu doing his bit. Downs gets it. I was going to talk about Downs earlier. Looks to a 1-2 with Smallbones. Can't win it. It's well won back by De Ligt. Here's Xerxes again. Sugawara tries to get across to stop him, but he can't stop him, spraying it out to Diallo. Diallo attacking into the penalty on the right. A couple of step overs, gets it on his left foot, gets another chance, and equalises for Manchester United. Aaron Ramsdale's furious, but Amad Diallo did that all on his own. Drove past Saints once, it ricocheted back in his favour. He got a second bite in it as it came off Walker-Peters, and there was no one left to stop him slipping it under Ramsdale. We're in the final 10 minutes. Finally, Manchester United, Stretford End wakes up, because it is Manchester United 1, Southampton 1. Amad Diallo with the goal.
It's a good goal, Lippin locking it at him, but this starts, for my liking, it starts because Flynn Downs wins the ball and drives forward and tries to play a 1-2 with Smallbone and loses the ball. And when we lose the ball, there's no one in midfield where Flynn Downs, in my eyes, should be, Adam. And that gives all the space to Xerxes to drive forward. Diallo Ahmad takes on Walker-Peters. They have had a battle all day. He blocks the first on Lippin, lucky, and then he puts it in, Adam.
Ramsdale's livid that they've let that happen, Saints. I didn't know, I was trying to work out who Ramsdale was angry with. Was he angry with it doesn't look like Walker-Peters to me. It looked like he was looking towards the middle of the park, like it might have been Downs he was angry with for the way they gave it away. What I was going to say to you earlier about Flynn Downs is, I was going to say to you, he was definitely one of Russell Martin's boys, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering whether his head was a bit gone after Martin was sacked, and we need to see him get back into his football now and be a professional and start playing.
He ran forward out of position when he had the ball. Instead of letting the ball do the work, he ran forward out of his position, which puts you in total. You lose control of midfield when you are the holding midfield player, and I don't know why he's running like that.
Well, either way, it's a free kick against Onuachu, his first action. Rolling ball. United want to get on with it quickly. Saints need to take the sting out of this now. It is 1-1. Onuachu, Sulemana and Armstrong are your three. Smallbone and Downs in midfield, and Woody's on for Bednarik, who's had a tough evening with Xerxes.
Bednarik has had two different halves after Xerxes came on, and it is the right decision to take him up because he's been standing off Xerxes, and that's caused us all sorts of problems.
Big moment for Nathan Wood to come on into, that's for sure, with United scoring as he comes onto the pitch and suddenly has to deal with it, and he makes his first tackle on Xerxes in the centre circle. Then United get the ball back early. Here's Diallo, well, he's tail up now after getting his fourth Premier League goal of the season. Fernandes on the right, Bruno Fernandes, left footed, tries to chip it in the box, deflects, volleyed away by Saints. pings off the head of De Ligt over Sulemana, and Bruno Fernandes collects it again midway inside the Saints half. It's all hands to the pump for Southampton now. Fernandes lifts it into the box. It's headed away by Saints. Sulemana tries to run it away. De Ligt with a very strong challenge, and then Diallo goes round Smallbone. Diallo at the byline, pulls it back to the back post. Bruno Fernandes heads it in towards the 6-yard area, half away by Bree, cleared away by Sugawara. It is all Manchester United. Can Saints hold on and take a precious point? Here's Martinez. He crosses to the back post. No one there. Harwood Bellis still had to clear it though. And Paul Onuachu needs to try and get into this game and start running around like his life depends on it, just to try and slow United up when the ball goes back towards halfway. Otherwise it's going to keep coming back if he can't make it stick. Bree there looking for Onuachu now, tries to get himself in between him and Maguire, and he does well, and Maguire puts it out for a throw into Southampton. 85th minute of the game. They've finally given up. But as we said, Joe, perspective later when we're doing Going Home with Adam and Joe on our Southampton page on BBC Sounds. You can subscribe to it. You can download the BBC Sounds app.
Yeah.
Search Southampton, subscribe to it, listen, download. We'll put that up. But whatever happens tonight, we've seen a different Southampton team here. And I know that's made you happy.
Yeah, definitely. But that goal could have been avoided, Adam.
Yeah. Onuachu can't get that. United have it again. It could have been avoided. A little bit lucky, Diallo, to get it back in his path when he played it against Walker-Peters. It could have gone anywhere, Joe. And then once he's done that and he's through, it's a good finish. But it could have been avoided earlier on in the move, I agree.
Yeah, and
there's a bit of luck to it,
it's the
though,
balance of the team you got to look at, and that's Flynn Dunn's job with a Smallbone, and they didn't have that balance there, Adam. It's too much space. I know it happens, and you're trying to go forward, but it was the wrong thing to do in the moment of the game, in my eyes.
Maguire sends a long ball down the right wing. Harwood Bellis chasing, who has to mark Anthony, then tackles Anthony strongly. It goes out for a throw into Manchester United. Anthony takes it quickly. Remember, he had that shocking miss earlier on in this second half. He'll be relieved to have seen that goal, and he's got a chance to attack now. It's Anthony up against Walker-Peters, right-hand edge of the penalty area. Looks up, left-footed, drills it across the edge of the box. Garnacho slipped. I think he'll keep it in. He does, and Armstrong needs to close Lisandro Martinez down. He does. Eriksen's on the ball, close down by Downs, and Sulemana will race. And they've done well, Saints, there to use some speed to force United back into their own half. Harry Maguire has it, dropped for this game tonight, passes it in towards Walker-Peters. Oh, referee's given a foul. Saints can't believe it. Looked to me like Walker-Peters beat Anthony to the ball. Anthony's gone down in a heap. Referee's gone for it. Whether it was a foul or not, Joe will tell us in a second. I think he just stood his ground and got the ball.
I don't think that's free kick. That is a Old Trafford free kick in my eyes. Anthony should have not had a free kick in that situation.
Look, he's up. Fancy that. He's okay. 87 minutes approaching. He didn't get the ball, Walker-Peters, but you know what? He didn't touch him either. It's an absolutely cheap free kick. Christian Eriksen has it, slides it out to the right. Here's Amad Diallo again up against Walker-Peters. Couple of step overs on the right. He's nearing the 6-yard area. He gets around to the byline. Saints want a goal kick. They get it. Got the ball caught on his own feet. Stretford End don't like it. Linesman and referee this time right on the spot. And Southampton have a goal kick inside the final 3 minutes. There you go. 73,723, the crowd. It's not bad for a Thursday night Premier League game. Anyone wonder whether the Premier League has a pool?
I know.
I don't know what the worldwide TV audience would be for this, but it's a lot of people to come out on a Thursday night, isn't it?
Yeah, it shows what power football has as well.
Yeah, 73,700 as Ramsdale launches a long clearance. Honor actually got nowhere near that. Maguire headed it. Bree heads it out there halfway. Might have got injured there as he landed, James Bree, just holding his back as he goes back into position. Ruben Amorim wants United to get on with it. Harry Maguire receives it, and then Saints don't get there because Wood didn't get there, but there's offside. Love the way the fans moan, like the referee's given a decision against them. So they don't get many at Old Trafford, do they? We're into the last 2 minutes of normal time, everybody. And Ivan Juric just could be 2 of the longest minutes, or about 5 or 6 of them probably, of his managerial career. Taking a job on with no hope, trying his best to turn things round. He's got them playing tonight, and I think the point Joe makes about playing like a Premier League team is what I'll explore later in Going Home with Adam and Joe. So 90 seconds of normal time to go. Smallbone heads it up in the air in the Man United half, midway inside it. Bree heads it back towards United's penalty area. Maguire wanted it more and got there before Onuachu. Then it's played out nicely by Bruno Fernandes to Lisandro Martinez, just short of halfway. Christian Eriksen looks up, just inside his own half. 4 goals against Saints, all in a Spurs shirt for the experienced Dane, who's now 32, of course. It's good to see him on a pitch as Diallo gets it. Again, him and Walker-Peters, what a battle they've had all night. Diallo will think he's winning it because he's scored. Back it goes to Eriksen, lovely chip for Diallo, pokes it and scores again. He's got 2 in the final 10 minutes. He took it first time. Lovely chip from Christian Eriksen over the top. Diallo played a 1-2 with the Dane. He carried on running. This time he did get beyond Kyle Walker-Peters and he's volleyed it beyond Aaron Ramsdale, and United have turned it round in the last few minutes of the game. It is Manchester United 2, Southampton 1, heartbreak at Old Trafford.
Oh, what a good play that. I mean, you've got to give credit for that play, and Diallo Ahmad has it's been a tough game for Walker-Peters, which has been a tough battle. Maybe he should get more help from Suleiman in front of him. He hasn't got any help from him at all. He's been one-on-one with Diallo, and that's the problem, Adam. It's a dangerous game when you do it, and he got through and scored, and when you score in the end of the game you get more energy. And what a good chip that was from Eriksen. Brilliant play, but he gets the ball too easy. He can drive on the sideline, plays it into Eriksen, and just runs through, just makes the decision, gets a perfect touch on the ball, and on the inside of the left, on the near corner again for Ramsdale. And a good finish.
It's a world-class pass and a brilliant finish.
I have to say Ramsdale's got some fingers on that ball, by the way.
Yeah, but he's hit it Diallo first time, right in front of him.
No chance of saving it. No. And this is the difference from what we saw Walker-Peters first half. He was on the right side, getting a little bit tired, just hesitated for that little tenth of a second, and that's enough for Diallo to run past him and get that vital touch.
Fans are acting like they've just won the Champions League. They're beating bottom club Southampton 2-1. It is a cruel, cruel night. It's turned into 10 minutes ago. It felt we were on the verge of something really positive for almost the first time this season, and now it's all fallen apart thanks to Amad Diallo's excellence, almost on his own, beating Saints as Sugawara goes over the top. He's beaten Collier, and Collier gets back to him, makes the tackle. It's a corner to Southampton though. Good play down the right from James Bree to find Sugawara. We are a minute and a half into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We're on air till 10:30 on Solent Sport. Get your WhatsApps into Ian and Joe, 08000 321 333. Is this the start of an improvement under Ivan Juric?
Definitely, it's a massive improvement from what we've seen earlier. I know we are 2-1 down, but we deserve something from the game, Adam.
She's got to take enough chances in the first half now. When we look at it, United are always going to get their chances, but can they get it back, Saints, in stoppage time? Still time. They have a corner. Onuachu's up there. Harwood Bellis. Sugawara curls it. Has a free header. It goes down and wide. Oh, it was a great opportunity. Sugawara takes the corner, puts it in brilliantly, and the deflection unfortunately came off a Saints player for it to go out wide. It may well in the end have been Nathan Wood who got onto it. Was it Harwood Bellis? Harwood Bellis, I think. He timed the run brilliantly, came in big back, and he got a free header and he hits it against his own player.
He hits it against Flynn
Downs. That is so unlucky. That is a great chance. Have to go back as well to the first half. Those brilliant Andre Onana saves that kept United in the game earlier. He's played his part for United, that's for sure. Amad Diallo will get man of the match, of course, from just about everybody. The small bone goes up in the air. Xerxes fell over. Referee's not having it. United have it still. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time left, and it's gone out, whacked out by Harry Maguire. He looks like he's just bought a new pair of boots. The brightest pair I think I've ever seen. As bright as Ramsdale's orange kit, and the touch is poor. It's going to be a hat-trick. It is. Harwood Bellis gets a bad pass from Ramsdale, doesn't control it. Diallo nicks it. Diallo scores 3. It's a one-man team. He has scored a hat-trick to turn things round against Southampton in the last 10 minutes, and Saints unfortunately have fallen apart in stoppage time. It is Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. Amad Diallo, the hero.
Oh, bad touch by Harvard Bellis. Doesn't really matter. They 2-1 up from that point, but it hurts extra when you played such a good game that we have, Adam. But we didn't stand the distance. We didn't kill the game off first half when we had the opportunity, and second half when we had a few opportunities. And then United's just come out, and Diallo Ahmad has been absolutely fantastic, Adam. He's saved United today, because they haven't been. We've been better than them as a football team, but they have had one player that's been extraordinary, and that's Diallo Ahmad, and he robs Harvard Bellis, who has a bad touch.
Is Ramsdale at fault as well for passing it to Harvard Bellis when he didn't want it, or not?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, it's his touch, isn't it?
It's his touch on the outside of the foot, Adam, which kills him. And
but I'm also thinking, why are you, with a minute of stoppage time to go, playing a short pass to your centre-back when you've got Paul Onuachu to aim at up on the halfway line?
Yeah, and Diallo read that really well, so you got to give him that. So kind of Howard Bellis was split in two minds, because he could see it happening, and then the touch ended up being poor. And
that's the clearance Ramsdale just did now that he should have done then, as it's gone up towards Onuachu. But we've had nearly the 5 minutes now. Howard Bellis looks gutted. He will be as a Manchester City boy, but it's his poor touch, having just had a header that was probably goal bound from the corner that Flynn Downs got in the way of. Hasn't been a great return for Flynn Downs either since he's come on, and United subs have worked. As Saints might go through now. Here is Downs trying to make a nuisance of himself, couldn't control it. First touch too heavy. Andre Onana clears it. Onana's had a much quieter second half, to be fair to him, and to United, as Diallo's got it again. He's up against Nathan Wood out there on that far side now, and this time he gets support from Bruno Fernandes. The space and time inside for Garnacho, goes to the byline. He tries to beat Ramsdale from a narrow angle, and Ramsdale puts it over the bar with a parry, and it's going to be a corner to Manchester United. We're nearly 6 minutes into that initial 5 minutes. I feel sorry for Ivan Juric, who set his side up brilliantly tonight, got everything right, and all he's been not let down with, but just a couple of moments have cost Saints. A little bit fortunate for the first United goal, that it ricocheted back into Diallo's path to get them back into it, and the second goal was a lovely one too. So that's it. John Brooks blows up. There is no shock at Old Trafford. United get their first home win in 4 matches, but Saints unfortunately suffer their 19th defeat. And Saints, well, I'm doing them a disservice. It's not 19 defeats, of course, it's their 17th defeat, but still, that one hurts. It's the best they've played all season, possibly, for 80 minutes, and Joe Tesson, they just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, brilliant football all through to the 85th minute of the game, Adam, and then a little bit of skill from Diallo Ahmad, and it shows that in the Premier League, when you can't win by playing good football, you need individual players to step it up, and he did for United, and that's the difference. And if you look at the chances you had first half with Southampton, you should probably have had 1 or 2 more goals. At least 1 more goal, Adam. I'm not being greedy if you had 1 more goal after the first half. And that's the difference, seeing the game out. Some tactical differences in terms of players coming on as well. Flynn Downs running forward, trying to play 1-2, losing the ball and leaving that hole in front of the back three. That causes a problem, and that's when the goal came from, Adam. And you can say it's a little bit lucky with the one-on-one with Walker Peters, who blocks it and then falls perfectly for him. But that's the difference in terms of doing the right things in the right moment of the game, and we didn't in the end, Adam. And you got to play 90 minutes. But overall, what an improvement. Yeah. I'd rather watch us play like this and lose football games than watch us how we used to play. I have to say, this was miles better.
Well, what do you think at home? 08000 321 333 on the WhatsApps. Put Solent as the first word, please. Text us 81333 doing the same thing, and of course you can tweet us at Solent Sport. No points again for Southampton, but at least some positives at Old Trafford. Reaction to come. We're on air till 10:30. Full time, Manchester United 3, Southampton 1.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
As Adam says, let's hear from you. Adam's just giving you the ways you can get in touch tonight between now and 10:30. It was going so well for Saints.
And the touch is poor. It's going to be a hat-trick. It is. Harwood Bellis gets a bad pass from Ramsdale. Doesn't control it. Diallo nicks it. Diallo scores 3. And Saints, unfortunately, have fallen apart in stoppage time.
That was the third goal in 12 minutes for Manchester United. Post-match reaction to come, hopefully from Ivan Juric between now and 10:30 in a player. All of it going up on BBC Sounds as well as your latest episode of Going Home with Adam and Joe as part of your BBC Sounds series later. Unfortunately, dissecting a defeat on the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Have you heard the secret stories from the south?
Cascading grasses from both sides of the walkway.
A botanic garden steeped in history. The underground vaults of a city.
Vaults that we still have access to.
A library where the books are chained to the wall.
He built it so the library books did not touch the back walls.
Hear the hidden stories behind the history of the South.
It's mad to think that a little island on the south of England, it was ahead of leading rocket technology in the UK.
Just download the BBC Sounds app and search for Secret Hampshire, Secret Dorset or Secret Isle of Wight. And click subscribe so you will never miss an episode.
Ian Wilding.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Let's go straight back up to Old Trafford. Joe Tessam is there, and Joe really thought tonight was going to be the night.
Yeah, we were so close, Waldo. I feel for the team and the players tonight because they did ever so well, but again, you got to play the 95 minutes of football. If you can't complete the 90 minutes, you're not going to win football games, and you got to do the right things in the right moment. And in the 12th minute, it took United to score. We fell apart, but what a good game we had up till then. And I'm really happy with the football and what we produced chances. We did things we haven't seen this year. We looked like a football team, but we couldn't stand the last distance, and unfortunately Diallo Ahmad stepped it up for United, and that's what it took. One good player, and you could see he had a pacey first half. There was a good battle between him and Walker Peters, but you got to give him, he won that battle in the end by scoring 3 goals, and we come home with nothing, Waldo. It's frustrating, it really is, but what an improvement in terms of playing football, being organised, being on the front foot, all those things we had talked about, and winning and playing turnovers, making United look like a really average team first half and parts of second half. But the thing is, when United makes change and then step it up a little bit and make things better, and you got to be organised, and the players that comes on got to step it up to the level that we had with Ukachuk, Joe Rebo and Fernandes before they got tired and got taken off. You got to come on and be hungry, and I think tactically we got a little bit wrong there, and especially with the sign that Xerxes was kind of getting involved, laying the ball off. That is what the players need to talk about, and Bednarik should have been kind of gone to either Smallbone or Flynn and say, come on, help me, I'm getting too much. As same as Walker Peters should have gone, Suleimani, you got to help me here. I'm one-on-one, is causing me problems, got to come and help me. And that's the communication between players on the pitch, and that's cost us. That's the thing in top football. You got to get those little details correctly, and we unfortunately didn't. I'm really gutted, because that was a good football game.
A glorious failure, says Clive from Paul, is a phrase that comes to mind. Poor old Saints. Paul says, I don't feel sorry for Juric. Wrong subs again, like being 1-0 down, then losing 5-0. Much better performance, says Paul. Chris says, sick as the proverbial parrot. And this one from Paul Shire from Yeovil. Shame about the final result, but Saints have been brilliant. No real complaints. A few things going United's way, as usual. Brilliant commentary. Thank you to you, Paul Shire from Yeovil. And as you say, they had the chances, Saints. There was one chance, wasn't there, straight after Saints went 1-0 up. You think the opportunity, and we had this message here, Joe saying, if only we had a striker, says Mark Newman.
Yeah, exactly, and this is the quality. You got to have that quality to finish it off. That chance from Fernandes after Dibling's gone through. If Dibling does ever so well, and one of his weaknesses as well is the goal scoring, taking the goal scoring opportunities when he gets it right with his left foot and gets it on the left foot. But then Fernandes, when he picks up that rebound, can chest it in full control of the situation, smashes it like a lot of us have done in that situation, hits the keeper. Okay, give Onana a little bit of credit. Anywhere else and hitting on Onana, it would have been a second goal for us, or that would have been the first one because we scored after that. But that's the difference. And Sulemana coming through after running in his circles against Euro on our left hand side, comes through, tries to shoot, does what a striker should do, but has he rolled that ball to the side, and Tyler Dimlin could have tapped it in. That would have been the 2-0 goal in the second half, and that probably would have killed the game off. And that's the small details in football that got him winning football games. And then United never gave up and made good changes. We went up for it.
Kevin in Germany says, I was coming back from choir practice tonight. I checked the score. It was 0-1 to our Saints with 10 to play. I was so happy I told people around me about it on the tram. Then it was 1-1 with a few minutes to go. Then I come home, check the score and see it's 3-1. He says, what? How did that happen? And I think we're all just a bit shell-shocked, Joe, by this situation. And also a couple of people saying about the confidence, and when you are on low confidence when you go and concede that goal, how much of that was a factor tonight, do you think? Because we had 3, as we say, in 12 minutes.
Yeah, well, when the first goal goes in, of course you're going to feel, because you want to ride it off, and we rather luck on a couple of situations, but so did Man United. And the thing is, when you get into the end bit of the game, that's the end of the game is always the crucial bit of a football game. When you are 10 minutes, 12 minutes left, a lot of goals are scored in that last minute. That's when you have to be organised. That's when the players needs to step up and help each other. Consider what's more important in terms of what you are doing on the pitch. And sometimes tactics go out of the window. It's more the communication, helping, being strong, protecting the lead that you already got instead of giving it away, because you come into phases of play there. And that's when communication, some leaders need to step up, and we didn't have that in the end. And you can see Xerxes coming on, caused Bednarik so much more trouble, also because Okochukwu and Joe Rebo started to get tired in front of him when they played brilliant games today, and they kind of had to go off. But then Smallbone, Flynn Downs comes on. They need to step it up and see what we have done in the beginning of the game, and read the game in terms of how Xerxes has been involved in the game and block that space. You, as a football player, it's not just the manager. As a football player, you got to come on and read that.
And what's happening to Flynn Downs at the moment, Joe? Because he was arguably Saints' best player last season. Do you think it's a confidence issue for him?
Well, he's been injured and been out for a couple of games, and that sets you back a little bit. And I don't know, he tactically he used to be so good when he can sit in that role. Today he kind of runs a little bit crazy running, and when he comes on in the face of the game, when he comes on, there was no need for him to start running around going forward on the pitch. He just needed to sit in front of the back three, and that should have been the message from Ivan Juric as well when he came on. Sit in front of the back three and help them out with Xerxes and block them from getting forward. Play it in behind. Just be simple. Just block the space, and he didn't. He just ran out of space, trying to go forward, kind of trying to be positive, but in that phase of the game, it wasn't necessary in my eyes.
Well, it finished Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. 3 goals in 12 minutes has won it for United after Saints winning at half-time 1-0 up. Ipswich 0, Brighton 2 is how it's also finished in the Premier League, so Ipswich go back down into the drop zone on goal difference. And in League 1 it finished Shrewsbury 2, Wrexham 1. 81333 on the text. Solent, your first word. Solent for WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Tweet us at Solent Sport. Chris Hall says the subs did nothing. Smallbone looked lost and weak when we conceded a goal. What this game shows, says Jamie, is we cannot finish our dinner, and over half the squad can't play Premier League football. Smallbone and Downs are awful in the middle, and in 3 years or more I simply cannot remember Smallbone sprinting, says Jamie. That's quite a statement there, Joe. Kenny Nash,
but I can see what it means, because Smallbone kind of floats around on the pitch. He doesn't kind of accelerate or exploit or use his speed in the way he does. But the thing is here, when we made changes, we put kind of very experienced players on the pitch with Adam Armstrong, Smallbone and Flynn Downs. You would think that is a good change in the moment of the game.
Yeah.
And we lost the game in that moment. So I think Ivan Juric is going to go back and be very disappointed with him when he comes in. And yes, Diallo Ahmad is the difference. But I think he's going to look at that and say, where did our game go wrong? Where, from that 85th minute, where did it go wrong? And I think that is one area he's going to look at it. But he had to make a change because Okechukwu and Joe Rebo was clearly quite tired after playing a really good game, and Fernandez was starting to get a bit tired as well. So that's the difference.
Stephen Wellow says the result is the same as under Martin, one step closer to Derby's unwanted record. That now remains the only thing they can achieve this season, and I'm not convinced they will avoid that embarrassment. One of the worst teams we've ever seen, and Southampton are the club in the country with all the unwanted records. These players are semi-professional on a professional wage. Dreadful, says Steve from Wellow. This one from Ken in Ashurst says best performance by Saints so far this season, not helped by poor refereeing decisions by John Brooks. I would give Anthony 6.0 for diving, and the referee bought it. Should have been a yellow card. We need our subs to get to grips quicker with the game. Try again on Sunday against Forest. And talking of the subs getting to grips with the game quicker, it's so vital now, Joe, isn't it? It's not like 3 substitutes anymore. When you've got 5, we've been talking about Bournemouth this week about when everyone's fit anyway. Sometimes they start with a couple of key players on the bench. They make them better. So it's so crucial when half of your outfield players can potentially change in the second half.
Yeah, and that's where you are when you're a decent Premier League team. You have not just national players on the pitch, you have national players coming on from the bench, but you've got to be hungry when you come on. You've got to learn it. Yeah, no one wants to be a sub. I know how it is when you're a sub. You want to play, you want to start because that's the rhythm of football, rhythm of your fitness and thing. But you've got to learn to take that job as well. When you are a sub, you've got to come on and you've got to sit there and kind of watch the game a little bit as well, individually, see where the problem is before you come on. Prepare yourself, not just sit there and watch it and be sulking because you're not starting or anything like that. Because when the game is started, you got to watch it and see how the game develops. And when you sit from the substitute benches, you can see clearly what the problem is and where the spaces are opening up. What the problem was with the Xerxes receiving the ball and holding it up and causing all sorts of trouble for Bednarek. And if you then come on as a midfield player, I'm not trying to pick on Flynn Downs and the small one all the time now, but when you come on, you got to kind of block that space, help them out, because that is causing the problem, and that's more important than scoring another goal because you're already in the lead. So you got to think about where are you. Okay, 12 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go. Can we get through it? Do we need to score another goal? No, we didn't need to score another goal. And in that moment, we didn't. And that is kind of the small differences. And that's where the other teams are better than us at the moment.
Well, Yuki Sugawara is on the way for you very soon on Solent Sport. That will also be going up on Sounds. That's on the way. Better performance, says Jim in Fareham, but after Dibbling went off, we offered nothing and didn't defend deep to hold on. A team low on confidence. Such a good performance in the first hour, says Chris. I think Juric deserves more time from fans already judging him. A shame that our subs weaken the team so much. It's the hope that kills you, says Chris. And it certainly is the hope that kills you. Keep those messages coming in between now and 10:30. We're reacting to this game in depth with Joe Tessam. So Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. Message here. If the manager doesn't realise, says Car 54, that Lallana should be on the pitch, maybe he is not right for the job, says Car 54. Lisa the nurse has got in touch, Joe.
Yes.
You're a big fan, so we have heard from Lisa the nurse tonight, which is good to hear. I was a bit worried about Lisa, but I know she's one of your big fans, one of many, Joe. But I mean, when the messages are coming in, it's mixed. There's generally, there's some pride, there's some disappointment, there's some frustration at the end. But what about that point there that a couple of people making about Lallana? When he is coming on, he's generally coming on for 3 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, I think Lallana is a brilliant football player and a smart player in terms of organising, coming on and doing those things. And I kind of agree to what he says. Is he the best one to come on? in his position? Is it better to start when I think Lallana is in that time of his career where if he doesn't start, he doesn't really work. But I agree with his experience to come on. Would he have done something different in midfield if he has come on? Maybe he would have held his position better. Maybe he would have realised that, and that's what experience does to you. And so, it is a tough one. But I would like to see more on the pitch as well, because I think he's a brilliant football player. But also, he is one of those who will boss other players around, and he does that. And for me, that is. But when he's been coming on the last couple of games, when he's been on, he looked very. I know he's only playing 4 minutes, but he looks like he's not interested. He looks like he's kind of sulking a little bit, and I hope he isn't, because he is a great football player, and I think we could have used him more. I think Ivan Juric. I don't know why he doesn't play him more, but again, Joe Reba and Ogochukwu had good games, and they walked off on 1-0 at him, Waldo. So they came off because they were tired. Could he have played instead of Smallbone? And it kind of the priority of where the manager stands with that. And at the moment, it looks like Smallbone has priority in front of Lallana.
Okay, we'll come back to Joe in just a second. Yuki Sugawara has been speaking to Adam Blackmore.
Yuki, you've got to be all so disappointed because you played so well.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't mind if I play good or not, because I just wanted to win this game, because we played well in all the Trafford, and until 75 minutes, we really control the game, and with the ball and without the ball. So we had to take minimum 1 point, but we got 3 conceded goals. That's really hard to take, but yeah.
Best performance of the season, even though you lost? It's close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really close, but I could bring some more my strongest point, like in attack, like bring the good crosses and make a chance create, and run a lot, run for the team, fight for the team. I could do a lot more, but against Manchester United in Old Trafford, we really control the game.
I think that's the best the team has played all season in that first half, maybe.
Yeah, I really think so. We really feel well, after the first half, and the dressing room, we said, we have to do more. There was a really good feeling with the team, as well.
How hard is it? Because you can go to Nottingham Forest now feeling better, but you've lost. So how important is it you all be positive about what you did tonight?
Yeah, it's really hard to take about the result, but if we think about positive things, we have so many good things until 17 minutes. That's a really good and positive things to prepare the next game. So I think just prepare for the next game. And we have to see the good things and the improvements as well.
Yuki Sugawara there. That will go up on Sounds. We got Becky Want 15 minutes away, late night Becky on BBC Radio Solent. Right now on Solent Sport, though, we're reflecting to Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. It was a kind of a short but sweet chat there, wasn't it, Joe, with Yuki? Do you generally agree with the comments he made there about the performance, and that, that first half performance is pretty much echoing what you've been saying?
Yeah, that's good. Then I'm doing my job well.
Exactly. Well, we had somebody, Patrick from Dorchester, thinks you should be a manager, Joe. So there we go.
Yeah, okay. Has he got a job for me?
We'll have to give you a pay rise to stop you going anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's good. Of course, he's got it. Like I am. I'm gutted sitting and watching it, because I thought they did so well. They deserve so much more out of this performance, because they do. They do deserve a lot more than what they got from this. And you can feel for him. For me, sitting as well, watching a club I support as well, you kind of, you sit there and when that first goal go in, you're gonna sit there and can we just get through it? Can we just be a little bit smarter? And you sit seeing some small details which you are getting wrong, and that's the difference from us kind of getting anything out of the game and then ended up losing it with 3-1. And it is heartbreaking, and football can do this to you, and obviously it has a lot to do with confidence and where we are in the table and how our season has gone, but because it's difficult to turn things around when you are in that kind of negativity, or the thing, how we have experienced the Premier League so far, and we are kind of running it into ourselves ground, and when things goes against us, it goes double against us, because we have no other experience this season than having negativity when other team scores against us, and that's what happened when that first goal goes in.
Ashley in Highcliffe, Joe says, showed promise tonight. Juric is the first manager to get Sulemana playing well, and pairing him with Dibbling has been a masterstroke. However, we just don't have the depth needed in the squad against a team of world-class players, and that's the difference, says Ashley in Highcliffe.
I totally agree. That is the crucial thing, and we are back to this the squad we got in what. Ivan Juric have got max out of what he can get out of the squad, and he's organised them, he's helping them, he's doing everything a manager can do for the players, and Sulemana is a clear example of just come in and help him, get him fit, believe in his skill, and tell him that he's got good skills, and try and make him feel like positivity and not criticise him for everything he does. And suddenly he grows up as well, because you've got to remember, these guys are young men, they are young people who are learning and being talked down to. No one likes to be criticised. I don't like to be criticised, but it's part of your life as a football player to be criticised, because you need criticism to get better. But sometimes criticism can be wrong in the way it's presented, and when you present criticism in a negative way, which I think we have done to Sulemana, and some of the managers have done that, he's going to feel that. He's going to go into shell, and I think that's a natural reaction as a human being. And now Ivan Juric has come in and changed him, and he looks like a million miles away from him a couple of months ago, and that's good to see, because he is turning into a weapon for us, and we need that. Unfortunately, Dibbling got injured. I think that was an unfortunate happening in the game, because I think Dibbling would have been able to last the distance. He looked like he was in the game, and he was doing the right thing, working hard, also being the threat. And that changed a little bit when he had to go off, and he got injured. That's why he went off. Ivan Juric didn't have any choice to take him off, because he could hardly walk when he walked. I hope he's going to be okay for Sunday, but I'm going to dump that because it looked painful.
Well, let's hope so, because if he can stay fit, I'm intrigued. I don't know about you, to see how that partnership's going to develop, and those two playing together with Dibbling and Sulemana.
Yeah, but what it does, because it's so much pace up there and threat in going forward, and that helps the team in terms of possession football. It helps the midfield play because they got more space, and that's a total different to what we saw with Russell Martin, where when we had no one up front, we had no one pressing, no one going forward, and then the kind of crucial tactical moment for a manager is that when you see Diallo Ahmad get so much space, could he have stepped in and helped Walker Peters a little bit more on that side? And I think Ivan Juric will sit afterwards and said, "Oh, I should have helped him more and stopped that from happening." And unfortunately, he then poked in a hat-trick and killed the game off.
Dave Hunby says the ghost of Russell Martin looms large. This one says it's been an ego wreck. One man's ego wrecked a complete season, says Dave. And St. Dom says, crying out for Archer, who warms the bench, but we get to see Smallbone, Adam and Downs instead, says Dom. St. Dom on Twitter.
I kind of, when that change came and Dibbling had to go off, what worked for us was the threat of the pace and the kind of skill of going forward and pushing the back three of United backwards. And when Dibbling went off, we just had Sulemana on the left, and I thought I would have changed like for like there. I thought it was the wrong change in my eyes as well, because I would have put Archer on, because I thought that would have been a little bit more similar, someone with pace, someone who's more of a threat, and I think he adjusted to it by putting Adam Armstrong on Lippid a couple of minutes afterwards, because he realised he lost that little bit of threat, and then suddenly just fell apart. And these are the moments which, again, I talked about earlier. You got to cherish and take care of those individual moments, one-on-one as a team, stepping out as leaders and helping each other when you come to this certain end phase of a football game.
A133 on the text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Solent, your first word, and tweet us at Solent Sport. Manchester United 3, Southampton 1. 3 goals in 12 minutes for the home side has earned them all 3 points. Ivan Juric is on the way imminently as well. That's going up on Sounds later, as is Sugawara, and our latest episode of Going Home with Adam and Joe. Joe, it's just like, that winning feeling after a game. Saints have had it once this season. Into 16th of January now. It's just, how tiring is it getting now for you? Because, week after week, that buzz that you get after 3 points. Obviously in the Championship, it was, about 15, 20 times by now, this time last year.
Honestly, I'm gutted. I'm gutted watching it. I'm because some of the stuff we produced in the beginning of the season, well, it was absolutely shocking. I was like looking at it, and you kind of had to close your eyes from the mistakes, the way we did things to lose football games, and putting players in such difficult positions as we did. It was scary, and it was like we weren't even in the Premier League in the way we played, and now we finally, and this is the difference. If we had this kind of system or kind of leadership from the beginning of the season, and I know someone kind of poked into it by saying that Russell Martin has ruined our season, clearly would have been different, because we look different in terms of competing in the Premier League. We go to Old Trafford, we 1-0 up till it's about 12 minutes, 15 minutes left, and then we lose the game 3-1, which shouldn't really happen. But and this is the thing, which we have started and had a little bit more points in the beginning, a little bit more confidence, and a little bit more kind of routine and experience of seeing games through and winning them, which I think we would have had with Juris from the beginning, because he plays a more simpler style. You might have got through these games, and it's a learning process. It's a tough learning process, and I'm gutted watching it, because I don't want the club to go down.
Well, talking of Ivan Juric, he's been speaking to Adam Blackmore.
Ivan, I know you are disappointed, but there were so many good things from your team tonight.
No, I'm agreed, but I'm angry, disappointed, because I think we did a great game for 75 minutes, and then there is a moment you have to be much more, I don't know the word in English, but you cannot play like always good. No, there is a moment you have to be much tougher, win some free throws, win some foul, be more experienced, and then we lose one game that we didn't deserve to lose.
In English we would say game management, manage the game.
To manage the game.
So the first goal, you're angry, the ball lost in midfield, yes, and then on the play.
No, we did, even before we did something that we cannot do in that moment of the game, and what you said, like real ball is managing the game, and we didn't manage these moments, these crucial moments of the game, when you have to win some foul, losing the time, go to the free throws, then press, and we were very bad in that.
The only other thing I can criticise your team for is not scoring more goals, because they had some wonderful chances to score goals. You scored one, could have had 3 in the first half.
No, absolutely. We prepared the game really well, and the guys didn't everything what I asked to do, but we have really lots of chances. You have to score more goals. We score only 1. I know I'm positive, because I saw one team competing, playing really good football, and disappointed now with the result. We have to think about next game immediately. I want same performance.
The ex-player who works with me on the radio said that is the first time we've looked like a Premier League team competing at a level all game. So you must be pleased the progress you've made.
No, I think that the team has value. For me, we have to work even more, to be like more intensity for 95 minutes. It's not easy to change during the season method of working, and we have to be careful. But I think the team has value.
Dibbling came off injured. How is Tyler Dibbling?
We will see tomorrow. He has problem with the ankle. I think so.
So you've only got a quick turnaround to Nottingham Forest, just 3 days. but you have these positive things to take to that game, yeah?
We have to repeat the same game, same mentality, preparation. It will be like massive. We have to play really well. I think we owe to our fans, and today there were a lot again, and we deserve more, I think so.
Ivan Juric, Saints boss, let's go back up to Old Trafford. Patrick in Dorchester says, as Joe said before kick-off, our players are not good enough for the Premier League, but let's look positively to the future as we could still win the FA Cup. So Patrick's still staying positive. Joe, Ivan Juric, mate, you got a bit of a shout out there as well in the interview. Your thoughts on what you heard there from Ivan?
I agree with him. He's spotted... I agree with him. It's probably what I've said without repeating myself again. But he spotted the same thing. He spotted the moments of football games that you got to take care of, and those are so important. They are really, really important. And he realised that, and that's when you kind of go in as a manager and analyse the game afterwards. He needs to start to kind of go back and I would anyway. He would go back and say, did I give the right message? Did I tell Smallbone to do the right thing? Did Adam Armstrong, was he doing the right thing? Flynn Downs, when he came on, did I give him the same message? And these are the things you got to rotate in your head and analyse, because you got to get them right, and in right moments of the right time in the game and phases of games, which you go through. And and that's what he's talking about. The phases of football, different. First half, bang bang, we are good, we're pressing, we're scoring, we're stopping Man United from scoring on the other end. They had some chances, but we had more. And then you can go and come in and think about, should we have had more goals? But then the game is 1-0, so you got to focus on that. And then you come to that phase, like you talked about 75, I think it was a little bit later, but come to that moment. What kind of phase are you in now? Are you in the phase of going to get a second one, or are you just going in the phase to get out and win the game 1-0? And that's what you manage from the touchline in my eyes. But he needs to get help from the players, and good Premier League players would step up. Or I can put it in a different way. Good player with experienced player with habits of winning in the season would probably go out and talk themselves into winning that game, or help each other, or put each other in good positions.
Okay, Joe, great stuff tonight. Thank you. Safe trip home, and going home with Adam and Joe. Plenty to discuss tonight. Joe Tessamar, Saints summariser, ex-Southampton midfielder. A commentary with Adam Blackmore. Defeat then for Southampton. Ipswich 0, Brighton 2. It also finished in the Premier League. This has been day 3 of 3 of live Solent Sport commentaries for you. A busy week. As I say, Going Home with Adam and Joe available for you later. You can just subscribe to our BBC Sound Southampton page, and you get all the notifications as soon as our content uploads, including interviews, pre-match, post-match. I'll be back for an hour Solent Sport preview tomorrow, 6 till 7. And then Saturday, our coverage starts at midday ahead of 12:30 kickoff. AFC Bournemouth at Newcastle. And then I'll be at Fratton Park with Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham for a 3 o'clock kickoff as Portsmouth host Middlesbrough in the Championship. Saints back in action on Sunday. They go to Nottingham Forest, 2 o'clock kickoff. Build-up starts at 1, and I'll be at St Mary's for the women's game. Presenting from there, they host Sunderland on Sunday in the Championship. Late night Becky next. 3-1 defeat for Southampton at Manchester United.
It's 10:30.
The Late Show with Becky Want.
On your local BBC radio station.
And the football's over. If you are listening on BBC Radio Suffolk or BBC Radio Solent, you are very, very welcome to The Late Show now that the final whistle has blown. I hope you've got a smile on your face, but of course not everybody can have. Now that we're talking about reading, we're talking about books, we're talking about whether you are an abandoner or a finisher. So do let me know. Do you go, you know what, 3 chapters in, I've had enough, it's not going to get any better, I'm giving up the ghost, or do you just do what I do and persevere right the way through? If you want to mention, all you have to do is clock on. Just give me a quick ring. If you've never done it before, it's 08000 321 333. If you're a virgin, if you're a first timer, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Sheila in Thurrock has clocked on. She said, ever been sick of looking for something you need online and can't quite find what you need? Sheila, can we help? I mean, you have really whetted my appetite there. And call me nosy if you want to. And I have been called nosy before, but what are you looking for? Let us know, Sheila, if you dare. Teresa and Mick have clocked on. Stephen is 75 today. Happy birthday. John in Shipley, William in Royton, John in Newcastle and June in Worcester. Paul from Chorley clocking on for my last one of the week. Yvonne and Steve from Redditch. Andy's in Cobham clocking on for the first time this year. He said, looking forward to listening. Have a great show. Thank you. And Dave in Halifax said, greetings from West Yorkshire. Looking forward to the final part of Dave Fishwick's road trip. Yeah, aren't we all?